so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game. Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
ESPN Asheville, broadcasting from the...
You know, I love my wife, but she does like cheese or salad with her cheese.
#1 preset on the iHeartRadio app. ESPN Asheville, #1 for sports coverage in the mountains.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy.
I'm powering through.
Of the season to your door.
Love that woman.
Day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt it.
Correct.
Filing taxes a walk in the park because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
ESPN Asheville, your #1 preset in the car, and now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WPEK Fair, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingle studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and join us in the chat. Howdy, gang. I'm feeling good today. I got the stitches out of my foot, and I'm foot loose and fancy free.
But can you walk?
I can. Well, I mean, you know, I can hobble. I can put weight on it. I can shift. I can waddle a little bit.
Is there any chance that I'm going to have to watch you hop up into the Parks Ford Mobile Studio again, like Lieutenant Dan?
No, you will not. That those days are gone. I'm not trying to jump off the foot just yet, but that day is a coming. I want to thank the docs over at More Foot and Ankle for taking care of me, getting me in and out. Dr. J taking care of me. I, you know, when you have a doctor named Dr. J, it's hard not to get the best treatment that you can find. So yeah, the impaled foot, everything's all sealed up. I actually got to wash my foot this morning, and I never thought it could be so liberating to wash a body part, but after a month of that thing wrapped up, and I will save you the gory details in case anybody's sitting there on your lunch break.
Please do.
But I feel good. I feel good today. How you feeling?
I'm good. I've been I spent the weekend deep diving the NFL draft, where the big board is through round 6. Now we're getting into the are you draftable or not.
Did you allow yourself to be ripped away from your Draftmas binge for the basketball tournament?
Not really. I mean, I watched some of it.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it's so predictable. Right. I mean, look, I feel like you've killed this tournament. What was the biggest upset of the weekend? St. John's, who, oh, by the way, can't shoot. And I knew that. I just thought they were so good defensively that it didn't matter.
I was going to say that was not a surprise to me.
It was a surprise to me because Arkansas has not been that team all year long.
No, but they hit a stride there late in the season, and they've had the feeling to me of that. This is that John Calipari Kentucky team that, remember that 8 seed that got real hot and made it to the Elite 8 or the Final 4 or something. That this team always felt like that, and St. John's was suspect. It's great you can play great defense. But, I mean, Rick Pitino said it afterward. We haven't seen athleticism like these guys have. He saw that coming.
Yeah,
what
he basically said is
he knew it was going to be a problem.
What he basically said is, man, it really helps if you want to win a college basketball game if somebody somewhere could shoot. They shot 28% from the floor. That's not good at all.
No. Whatever you're trying to do, it wasn't that.
That basically means that St. John's had roughly the same percentage chance of getting a basketball to go in a hoop as your loser friend had of getting Callie Cankles to give her his phone number.
This is the first time since 2007 that we don't have a 11 seed or higher in the Sweet 16. Does that take away the enjoyment? I mean, I expected it to be a pretty chalky tournament anyway. NIL has dictated this. Talent is going to win out. More money to recruit is going to win out. Obviously, coaching and scheme and all of that plays a role in it. But for the most part, the days of having a bunch of upsets, I think those are going to be rare.
I mean, that's
Very
the way
rare.
it is. In terms of upsets, it basically looks like my dating record. Couple 6s and a 10. Thankfully, I married the
Good
10.
for you.
That's
Good
where
for
we're
you.
at.
Well, I mean, you married the 6s as well. You married the 6s as well. You just had to, you had to take your lumps.
I had to keep my wallet, my keister, and keep the gun unloaded. But yeah, I did. You're right.
End all be all. Unfortunately, Duke's going to win a national championship.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Is hey, which one of y'all think you're going to beat Duke? Because if you do, you're wrong.
You ain't got one of them. Look, when they beat Carolina without Flagg and Brown, I went, this is, if they get right, which they should, and they did, this is not going to be really close at all. And Duke did over the weekend what I expected that they were going to do. Maybe not, having the, 67-point differential. That's a little aggressive. But it's a good start to the tournament for Duke. The ACC, we know what it is. We know what time it is.
Yeah, you have Duke and nothing else.
Money. Precisely. It's time to start spending some money. I hope that GM at Carolina has.
I went down this rabbit hole with some Carolina fans over the weekend. You don't have money like that because you have one Bill Nathaniel Belichick III that is taking just all your cookies, and you're not as long as you have that. Because Duke spends about as much on NIL as the sportsocracy does. So in terms of football, you just can't compete with it. Until you put some parameters on it, this is what you've got. Mm-hmm. If you don't like this and you want to see West Lafayette Technical Institute for the Blind, Deaf, and Dumb get into the Sweet 16, I hate to tell you this, that ship sailed a long time ago. Because most of those games, it was super obvious to watch and go, you don't have anything that can contend with what they have. I thought Creighton was good. Creighton got run off the floor by Auburn. Auburn just had two really weird, 2 to 3 minute periods where they couldn't do anything right, which allowed Creighton to make it look. It was a 20-point game. I don't care what the final score was. That's what it was if you watched it. And that's where you're at. The 8 seeds have no shot. They play these legit ones, the Auburns, the Dukes. You're dead on arrival.
They had some. They had the system working early. I watched a lot of that Creighton game, and I made a lot of fun of those Creighton guys. It feels like it's a different era, right? Does it not to you when you watch Creighton basketball? It's still just Creighton. That old school Virginia, really solid, fundamental Hoosier basketball is what I think of. And then it doesn't help when they have a third-year doctorate candidate running point for that team. That dude's 38 years old. He has a mortgage and 3 kids.
I watched Creighton.
Mr. Ashworth.
I watched Creighton, and my first thought was I did not think I was going to see a team in this tournament that is so unathletic that I would fit into your top 9. But I found one.
I mean, for an entire half, they were YMCA jamming the Auburn Tigers. It was, is this going to last? And then, of course, it didn't. They ran out of gas, and Auburn took over. But they gave it a try.
How much of this tournament did you watch?
I watched a bit. I didn't watch as much as I usually do, but I watched a bit. And the bits that I did watch, I really enjoyed. I watched it up until it was over, right? And some games I turned off early. But when it got my attention, it was entertaining. There was always a game on that was close. There was always something. You had your buzzer beater moments with, Maryland taking down Colorado State, breaking the hearts. I thought it was a pretty good weekend. Where it falls in the pantheon of interest, I mean, you're not drawing huge numbers off of this, but for college basketball fans, I think it's fun for the most part.
Where does it fit?
Obviously, you're mad.
All right, so obviously the NFL and college football are easily 1 and 2.
You got the weekend. Congratulations, you won the weekend.
But that's not what I asked you.
It's exactly what you were supposed to do.
What I asked you is where does it fit in? All right, so take the football out. Rank the non-football things. I'm trying to prove a point here in case you can't tell.
Where college basketball lands?
No, where this weekend lands.
NFL?
No, where this weekend lands. All right, rank things outside of football, sporting event-wise. Where does this land?
I mean, the tournament is a solid top 5 event.
What beats it? Because I'll go ahead and tell you my list, and maybe it'll help you understand where I'm headed with this. There's nothing in baseball that touches it.
No, when you talk about marketing-wise, I mean, you have the Masters is ginormous.
That's my one.
Right? I mean, that's huge. I don't know. What would you have? What else would you have ahead of March Madness?
I would have the Masters.
Because I don't have the World Series ahead of it.
I would have the Masters 1. I would have this 2. And then from there, I don't really care. It's just a hodgepodge of the World Series and the NBA Finals and just a bunch of things that I don't care about. You know what this weekend told me definitively? I'm not a very good sports fan because I just don't care. I can't swoop in like I did when I was 25 years old and nest in on this. I don't care. For me, it's ahead of the Olympics by a lot. It's ahead of the World Cup. I saw Detroit Fan Man ask that in the YouTube. I know a lot of you like that. I could absolutely care less.
I love the Olympics.
I could care less.
This is most definitely better than the Olympics, though.
I would agree.
And I'm an Olympics fan.
I would agree. This and the Masters.
I mean, I'm also biased. I'm also biased because where I was raised. Right, for people who don't live in the South or who don't live in North Carolina, where college basketball has lived and dominated our childhood. I mean, if you pay attention to the Facebook feeds and the Twitter feeds and all that, how many memes did you see this weekend about the teachers rolling in the TV cart during middle school?
I saw one on our social media.
It was everywhere. Because everyone who lives in our sphere, we all live the same thing. This is basketball tournaments, period, to me are more special than like the NBA playoffs. The one and done, the Cinderella, anybody can win kind of thing is what makes March Madness and the ACC tournaments and the conference tournaments and such. It's what makes them so great. It still exists. I didn't have any trouble swooping in this weekend going, I don't really know a whole lot about Oregon and Arizona other than Caleb Love plays for Arizona. But you immerse yourself in it, and it was good. It was good action this weekend. I'm excited for the next one because it's going to get even better in the next rounds.
I don't agree with you there at all.
You don't really?
I don't. I think that was kind of the point I was trying to make. So you said it's all about the fact we grew up in the South. Well, Stone Sports Podcast grew up in Boston, and he said this is one for me, and it's not particularly close. But
good.
You know what you don't have in the next round? Narratives. You have no narrative whatsoever. There's no Will Wade here. There's no Rick Pitino. You've got Duke. You've got John Calipari, and not much else. You got 7 SEC teams, in large part, that don't have fan bases that are ravenous enough to care. You think Ole Miss is jumping up and down that they're in the Sweet 16? Because I go ahead and tell you they're not.
Oh, yeah. I bet they are.
They would trade this for a shot at a college football playoff, not even guaranteed to get in. I'm going to be 13, 12, or 11. They would trade this in a heartbeat.
Sure. But it doesn't mean that they're not excited, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to be swooping in to find out. If you're loyal to your school, you're going to care that you're in the Sweet 16.
All right, let me ask you this. Right now, a spot in the Sweet 16 is closer to which one? A spot in the college football playoff or a spot in the College World Series?
I'm going to go closer to being in the football playoff.
And I disagree with you. I think it's very similar to the College World Series. You'll get guys that are big Ole Miss fans that'll go, yeah, it's great. And then when they get beat, I don't care anymore. I don't care. I mean, it's not going to carry water to other games. And I'm telling you, when you see the TV number, I think you're going to see that I'm right.
Maybe so.
I was in a bar for 2 of the nights of this tournament over the week. Actually, 3, because we were at Bears on Thursday. I was in a bar for 3 of the 4 days of this tournament. You know what I saw a lot of? Hey, I'm really locked into Duke. I don't care in the least about anything else. I was at the Village Porch Saturday night, and Auburn Creighton was up on the television. There was one guy wearing a War Eagle hat that was really locked in. Nobody else cared. Entire bar full of people, and it was packed. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. And that's in the South. It's just, we don't know who the players are because they transfer so often. It took me a solid 4 possessions to figure out which one Johnny Broom was. And that's the second best player in college basketball.
Wait a minute. He hasn't moved.
No, he hasn't moved. I also forgot exactly what he looked like because I haven't watched college basketball for a season. I remember him from last year. I knew he got better. I know now he's talking. We're talking about him being the player of the year, him or Cooper Flagg. I knew exactly who Cooper Flagg was.
Yes.
Because Cooper Flagg moves the needle. The rest of these guys don't. Because we don't have anywhere for them to land. We don't care if they go to the NBA and play for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything. I would argue that this weekend, Ryan Kalkbrenner was in the top 6 of guys that move the needle because he runs like an ostrich.
See, and this is where there are guys like me who look at it and go, this is way better than the next level. And I don't care that you're going to make it to the next level because I'm not gonna pay attention. I don't care. This is where it matters. And the fact that you don't have those relationships with players anymore, I mean, I get it. I feel it. I feel it less than many other college basketball fans because Carolina hasn't really been playing that game, right? I've had guys stick around for a while. I can only imagine what the detachment is for people that you're a fan of a team whose roster completely turns over year after year. I said this forever about John Calipari when he was, at Kentucky. He was getting all the one and dones. Like, to me, that takes something away from the enjoyment of the game because you don't get time to watch them develop, to build a rapport, to have those memories.
All right, so we have to take a break because we've plowed through the opening salvo.
We overshot it.
We have 2 super chats to get to when we get back. In the break, I want you to I'm going to task you with something. I like being right more than I like being alive. I want you to convince me of what it is that I'm missing in the next round. All right, I want you to look at the 16 teams we have left, the 8 matchups we have in the Sweet 16. And I want Tank Spencer to put on his best salesman's cap and tell me what it is exactly that you're seeing that I am just absolutely missing.
Okay. All right. I will do it. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Clear.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch?
Yes, I can still hear you.
It's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever.
7.
Do it for less at Harbor Freight.
I found a fountain of youth down there at QC Kinetics.
That's Henry Hinton, feeling like his young, active self again after treatments at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine.
I still have trouble walking down steps as I get older. I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference in my knee.
And that treatment at QC Kinetics used Henry's own natural healing properties, concentrated and placed right at the source of the pain. So Henry and patients just like him will enjoy long-term relief without surgery or downtime.
My knee is not hurting. I remember I was walking down some steps yesterday, and I thought, wow, this is not hurting when I walk down steps. I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics.
It's time to wind back the clock to days without constant joint pain. Start with a call to QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Bear Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville is back. Join us on the 29th at Bears on the South Slope for a lighthearted rage-releasing benefit party appropriately named To Hell with Helene. We'll exercise some demons together. A little axe throwing, a pie eating contest, mechanical bull rides. There'll be live music and, of course, great barbecue. Proceeds from the party will support Linked for Life, a mental health initiative. See To Hell with Helene with us at Bear Smokehouse grand reopening downtown March 29th.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
We're back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. I want to thank everybody who joined in on the stream with us, joined in person with us out at Bears Smokehouse Barbecue last Thursday and Friday for the start of the NCAA tournament. Those people over there, they know how to treat a couple of fellas. I will say that. Absolutely love having Bears Smokehouse Barbecue now as the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy, and this will be just the first of many appearances that we have down at Cox Avenue.
I think they were half expecting us to appear today. I got a text from them this morning, like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah, you want to come back?
Don't threaten me with a good time. Look, I'm about to eat a leftover sandwich that I am very excited about, but it is not as good as any of the barbecue fixins that I was fed while we were down there.
No, definitely not. We still have some Bear Smokehouse barbecue left in the fridge in there. Had a little bit of that just a second ago. You know, some of the best meat that you will find in town. Plus, they have the balls. They have bear balls and they have moink balls back on the menu now. You need to try all of them. Cox Avenue, 135 Cox Avenue, Bears Smokehouse Barbecue. The To Hell with Helene party is coming up this Saturday. It's 5 o'clock start. I think it wraps up about 10:30. It's going to be a lighthearted rage-releasing event. Axe throwing and bull riding, and Jeremy and I are going to get our keisters kicked by a professional eater.
You speak for
yourself.
yourself.
Eating contest.
I
cannot wait for you to be humbled.
I
by,
have not
by Jimmy
given
the
up.
Bear McDonald.
I have not given up hope.
Have you been training? Have you been doing any, exercises or practice or?
Tank, I'm a 6'5" man that weighs about 275 pounds. My whole life has been training for something like this. I mean, if it's how quick can I put something in my mouth, make it go away, and then do it again? Make the joke. I see the look on your face. I can see you. You can't see me.
I'm not
I
saying
see
it.
you.
You're move on. Let's move on. I hope so. I hope you don't get embarrassed.
Well, I know definitively I'm going to embarrass you. So, because you eat like a grandmother. You eat like a grandmother eating cookies. Oh, little Johnny, would you like a butterscotch candy? I should have a little biscuit.
135 Cox Avenue downtown this weekend. The To Hell with Helene party at Bears Smokehouse Barbecue, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. The basketball this weekend, or this upcoming for the Sweet 16. Jeremy, you would like for me to sell you on all of these games. All right. Well, no interest in Caleb Love against Duke?
No,
Arizona,
because I know what it's going to look like
in the next round.
It's going to be Cooper Flagg mushes your face for 40 minutes. Nah, I'm good.
I don't know if it's within, if they can keep it close. If it's within a few points at the end,
it won't be.
Caleb Love's got that history against Duke, hitting big shots.
Tank,
it's worth it. It's enough for me to watch the last bit of it. If it's
Duke
close.
has beaten their first two opponents by an average score of 42 points. I'm not worried about Arizona, a team that struggled with Oregon, who is super flawed. Arizona's fine. You're just a second-tier school, and you're about to see how big the difference is between a 1 and a 4. Next.
All right, fair enough.
Let me give you a piece of advice. If your line is, well, if they can keep it within 20, which is not 100% a given, that's a bad start. Proceed.
The Bruce Pearl Show. You're not interested? You don't care whether or not he can, pay it off as the coach of the number 1 seed and move on? I mean, that game against Creighton was not easy. Until it was. At the end. The last 6 minutes of the game.
You said the Bruce Pearl show. For some reason, mentally, I went to Tennessee. Michigan has two gigantors down low.
Yes.
They don't shoot particularly well at times. Auburn's markedly better. But, I mean, look, Michigan looked impressive against Texas A&M, a school that I didn't buy into much. Yeah, I'll give me Auburn. And I'll say -9.5.
Wow. Okay. All right. Sizable difference there. The Tom Izzo, Chris Beard matchup. Ole Miss and Michigan State.
Name me a player in that game.
Can't do it.
There you go.
Do I care?
I do.
It's the coaches are the draw there.
The coaches are never the draw to me. I have never in my life watched a sporting event and gone, oh, it's all about the coaches. No, I want to see really good players.
I just did that this past weekend. Coach Cal against Rick Pitino.
You know how much of that game I watched?
Didn't know any of
this
those
is coming from a guy that had St. John's in the national title game. I watched more of that game than I watched of any other, and I didn't make it through 4 full minutes. You know why? Man, because Coach Pitino doesn't shoot. And I figured out pretty quick, hey, none of these guys that you have playing can do that.
All right. Round 3, Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky's 2-0 so far against the Vols.
Woo!
No
I got
interest
Mark
there?
Pope. Mark Pope and Rick Barnes. Yeehaw!
And your hatred is just seething through here.
Well, because you just tried to sell me on coaches, and then you just gave me 2 faceless guys in Kentucky, Tennessee. And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the more palatable matchups of the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Houston, Purdue.
They're going to be good
I have
matchups.
one really good team against the slowest team in college basketball. I'm good. And you don't have Frankenstein anymore for Purdue, so I don't even have the sideshow to watch there. I'm good. It just doesn't do it for me. I need somebody to root for, and I'm looking up and down the bracket here going, I don't have one of those. I can root for Tennessee because I like Tennessee. Do I think they have a snowball's chance in Atlanta of winning this thing? No, I don't. And that's what kills it for
Even
me.
if they were to make
I'm looking at one super. This is baseball all over again. My dad and I talked about this yesterday for like an hour. It's baseball all over again. The only way Duke doesn't win this tournament is if Duke beats themselves. Fact or fiction? You name me the team that can beat them. I can't wait to hear it. Because there's nobody in their class. And if you don't believe me,
with you.
if you don't believe me, go look at the overall rankings of NBA draft prospects and the fact that Duke has 6 of the top 25. Not just in this class, over the next 3. I just don't care. Sorry, this is why I hate baseball. I knew 25 years ago, I'm not a fan of the Yankees. The Yankees get every player. They're always competitive, and they will either beat themselves or they will win. I'm good.
Right.
It was fun watching the first 4 days where I felt like everything was on an equal playing field except when Duke played, except when Auburn played. Now, it's not on an even playing field anymore. I've got one great team and 15, they're fine. You're not Duke.
Yeah. But it's March and anything can happen. And it's going to keep getting my eyeballs, at least for now. Sweet 16 action starts on Thursday. Unfortunately, the season is over for the North Carolina Tar Heels here on ESPN Asheville. But good news is, coming up on Thursday, baseball season kicks off. The Atlanta Braves baseball season can be heard right here on ESPN Asheville. All season long, we will begin our season-long journey. Game number 1 of 165,000. We got the Braves and the Padres coming up at 4 o'clock this Thursday on ESPN Asheville. You're in the Sportsocracy, and we'll be right back.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner.
Clear.
ESPN Asheville.
Decreasing clouds, breezy and cooler force here this afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs in the low part of the 60s. Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight all the way down near 40. Breezy and milder Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon approaching 70 degrees. Cooling off again as we head through Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of sunshine, a bit breezy, especially Wednesday. Highs near 60, low 60s Thursday. I'm Ken Boone. with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.
No, is he getting tuggies?
Realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Our iHeartRadio Music Awards celebrated the music and artists you've loved listening to all year on iHeartRadio. Brought to you by Jeep.
It's now streaming on Hulu for a limited time.
Bad Bunny,
Billie Eilish,
Glorilla,
Kenny Chesney,
Money Long,
Nelly,
your host, LL Cool J,
plus Lady Gaga,
Mariah Carey,
Gracie Abrams,
and iHeartRadio's Tour of the Century Award, honoring Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour.
Our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Streaming now on Hulu.
Tractor Supply knows that a winning season takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when you have a neighbor like Tractor Supply, teamwork comes easy. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, our team members will help you succeed, season after season. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
Your stomach is a mess and you feel lousy. Something is just off, but you don't know what. Yeah, we get it. You've tried every fad diet and supplement under the sun, and none of it worked. Here's the truth. Your gut's a mess, and your body is letting you know. You're just too busy, and you ignore the signs, making it worse. Viome gets straight to the point, analyzing your gut microbiome to give you a personalized health plan that actually works. Your gut is how your body processes everything that you consume. Stop ignoring the signs. It's time to do something real. Get Viome and fix your gut now. Call StarStar Guts to get $50 off a full body intelligence test. That's StarStar 488 to receive a link to the offer.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. Time to get just a bit outside and go look because baseball, right, Jeremy. We get so we just got done talking about how, or at least how I feel, March Madness has satisfied the palate for the first weekend of the tournament, and we said it was what, the first or second. Well, I guess second best sporting event outside of anything football related that occurs. Major League Baseball, they have a team to which no one is going to be reporting on them this year. I didn't think that was possible. I didn't think that it was possible that a major league organization, a major sporting franchise, would not have one person dedicated to covering that team media-wise.
Is it the Oakland A's?
It's the Oakland A's. So the A's are getting ready to move to Vegas, right? But they don't have their new stadium because, it's going to take years to build that. But the whole kerfuffle with Oakland, they're not staying any longer. So they're playing this year in where?
Sacramento.
There you go. All right, so he does know that. So they are playing in Sacramento.
I learned books.
Okay, all right. I'm just checking. So they'll be playing in Sacramento this year. A new story at the San Francisco Chronicle shows that MLB.com will be the only outlet providing day-to-day coverage of the team in Sacramento. The Chronicle reports that the Associated Press will not deploy a reporter to Sutter Health Park as the AP does not have a sports bureau in Sacramento. The local Sacramento Bee newspaper is not hiring a beat reporter to cover the Athletics after gutting its sports section in recent years. Even before the teams moved to Sacramento, the Chronicle and other Bay Area newspapers had cut daily coverage of the downtrodden Athletics.
I say we do it.
To me.
I say we do it.
I don't want that job.
No.
I'm
all
gonna be honest with you.
So we have one segment every day where we recap the Oakland days. Or Sacramento A's or whatever the hell they are now.
Since nobody is covering them.
All right, so hear me out. What if we did it in funny impersonation voices we do? We go like
I don't even
Civil
think that
War
would make it
Andrew
interesting.
Luck covering the Oakland A's.
I don't even think it's worth it. That's the thing. Like, there is no media outlet, on the web or print-wise that goes, we're going to cover this. This is worth our time. You couldn't find a guy. Here's the thing. Here's the thing that baffles me is you couldn't even swing the deal with like a super fan or a blogger or somebody to put a butt in the seat to cover that because that's how little anyone cares.
Oh, I'm not going. However, I do think it would be really funny to go full General Andrew Luck talking about, times have gotten cold and dark here in Sacramento. No one cares that we're here. Keep playing the games. No one shows up. Lawrence Butler has just decided he doesn't want to play anymore. He took a job with Geico selling insurance. I could make that funny. And you know what? I may take it upon myself to just do it myself.
There you go. They are. The sad part is they're probably going to draw more fans in Sacramento than they did in Oakland. Wasn't that one game they had like 6 people there?
I think 6 will be a high watermark for Sacramento.
You think so?
Hey, look, it's Lawrence's mom. Lawrence's mom showed up. Hey, Lawrence's mom, we're getting snow cones after the game. Great.
No,
we'll both get a great.
No, this is like when the New Orleans Hornets went to Oklahoma City. Like, it gives that city an opportunity to go see something that they've never seen before. So, I mean, there will be some interest, I bet.
Yeah, but at that time, it was the NBA, which was at least palatable to watch. This is a horrifically bad Major League Baseball roster. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can come see the other teams play. We'll show up when the Red Sox come to town.
Yep, I'm good there too.
When the Yankees come to town.
So I have 2 stories that neither one really is big enough to be my outside story, so I'm going to tell them both.
Okay.
The first one comes from Houston. It's about a content creator named Colin Drum. He looks incredibly similar to CJ Stroud. He is also based in Houston. So he went to the rodeo in a CJ Stroud jersey, and they just let him through the front door. They all thought he was CJ Stroud. The craziest part of this, he had a camera crew with him. Does that not strike you as odd? Like, why would CJ Stroud have a camera crew to go to the rodeo?
Because he's doing that quarterback show.
Also, what quarterback wears their own jersey in public? This is a PSA. It will never happen. Ever.
He wants you to know.
No. Fictitious CJ Stroud wants you to know that he is impersonating CJ Stroud. That is rule 1. If you see a guy and you go, hey, is that blank? Is he wearing the jersey of blank? Because if he is, he isn't. Just a PSA. My second story comes from your basketball tournament. Mick Cronin, who's always good for a little soundbite. After they lost, and I'm trying now to even remember who they lost to. I watched this game. Yeah, Tennessee. So they lost to Tennessee. It was late at night. They wanted to get Mick's thoughts on 2025. His quote was, "Right now, guys, it's 12:40 a.m. and our season just ended. My biggest concern is how bad the seats are on this Allegiant flight on that terrible plane we're going to have to fly home on tomorrow. Also, is there any chance that Doug got me some hot food because I don't eat on game day? I just hope that I got something edible. Not next year. Not right now, guys." So, Mick, I don't know how many ways you can screw up an answer. By the way, Allegiant is an official sponsor of UCLA basketball. I'm just throwing that out there.
Of course they are.
Yeah, just throwing that out there.
Of course they are.
You probably ought not have done that. Because you're going to be flying Spirit home. And I hate to tell you, you thought Allegiant wasn't awesome. Wait till you see this. Allegiant might actually, or Spirit, excuse me, you might actually have a seat on a horse.
I mean,
they're
that's
transporting
rare.
a horse to UCLA, and you're going to ride it.
That is rare to see a head coach throw one of the chief sponsors onto the bus.
Oh, I don't know if they're the chief sponsor.
Yikes.
I just know they are a sponsor of UCLA. It may just be the flight accommodations. I don't know. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. That's just one of those things that you don't ever do.
Absolutely not.
I'm also stuck on the fact that Mick Cronin looks like a guy who never told his kids that he loved them. Ever. Mick Cronin looks like the dad that his kids have been itching for his approval since about 1994. And they've never gotten it.
He's not Dan Hurley.
He scored 30 points. You should have scored 35.
Good night.
Did you see Dan Hurley told his lead assistant to shut the expletive up during the first half of their game yesterday?
I don't doubt it.
Dan Hurley does not look like he would be.
Did you see him hollering at the next team as he was coming off the floor?
Oh,
after
they
Baylor
came on the floor
to UConn, and he was yelling at Baylor, "I hope they don't bleep you like they bleeped us," talking about the referees.
Yeah, Dan Hurley does not look like a guy that would be fun to work for.
Absolutely not. We talked about this though when they won the first national championship. Like, how is that happen? How is that guy able to put together a roster of 18-year-olds who could stand to be in the same room with him?
I don't have a good answer.
Because I don't get it. Remember when he was talking about the recruiting process and that, he will go into he'll go into a parent's living room and basically tell them that I'm not going to allow your kid to be a jerk, and that he recruits the parents more than the players. Like, if your parents are jackwagons, you're not coming to play with me. Like, that's an interesting take. But the guy won 2 national championships doing it, and then after they lost, I mean, he pitched one of those Dan Hurley fits, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't make me feel all fired up and ready to go.
Well, he was also complaining half his team was in the transfer portal before we even got to the tournament. It's like, Dan, buddy, not everything do you need to complain about. Like, there is a time that you could I say this a lot, but it's about football. So I'm going to change a few words. In football, I say you should run the damn ball. In this situation, Dan Hurley, you should shut the hell up. Like, just don't talk. Just stop speaking words. It's not good. It's not helping you. And you look like a curmudgeon-y old man.
That he does.
You think he's going to regret not taking the Lakers job?
No.
I said it at the time. I think he will.
I do not. I still don't feel like that's not a destination. I don't feel like
the Lakers.
I mean, to me, it's just
that's the destination of all basketball coaching jobs. Actually, that's not true. I would say Duke is probably that's the legacy job at this point.
Is it though?
The Lakers are in the top handful though.
I will go and I will face the biggest media scrutiny ever. If I don't win there, I'm thrown out on the street. Like, why would I risk
the street and I'll be able to
leaving
pick my
what
poison next time? And I wouldn't have to play this NIL game.
Maybe.
I would be running away from college basketball right now just so I didn't have to play this NIL nonsense.
Why? It's the same thing now. I mean,
no,
it's
not.
A different level of
it's not.
Different level of NBA.
No, it's not, because it's completely unsanctioned in college basketball. There are no rules. There are rules in the NBA. There's a salary cap. We're all on even footing to as much of a point as we can. Yeah, sorry, Oklahoma City, it's harder to get guys there than it is to get them to LA. We're never going to change that. That's just, you're in a place with silos, and they're in a place with movie stars.
Right.
You two are not the same. College basketball, it's the Wild Wild West. Why do you think we keep having to go to the NBA to get assistant coaches to fill these jobs? Look at the 5 biggest jobs that have already been filled in college basketball. You know what they all have in common except one? They were filled by NBA guys. That you got a huge pay bump because NBA assistant coaches get traded around like Pokemon cards. And they went, hey, I can go here and be loved for 4 years? Okay, I'll do that. That's not a happenstance. Also, I can tell you one of the grossest stories. I'm not going to do it. One of the grossest stories I've ever heard about how a coach got hired. It's a Power 5 job, and the guy got hired almost exclusively because of the money he comes with sponsorship-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And it is disgusting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I heard a story over the weekend that we had a coach hired in the Big South. He got no coaching experience
on court.
You know what he does have?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that story as well.
He's got a rich daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy bought him a basketball team, and the NIL budget quintupled in a 48-hour period.
Quintupled?
Yeah, quintupled.
I believe that's quintupled.
Very little to a whole bunch. Huh?
And from now on, I'm not going to call it anything but quintupled.
Quintupled. Exactly.
That word loses all meaning the third time you say it. It doesn't mean anything now. We have 3 super chats to get to before we come out of this segment.
All right.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
The first one's from my buddy Red C that said, Mr. 1.5 feet, Tankerous Spencer the Fourth.
Yes. Yes.
He did figure out your real name, though, which really kind of kills the... I will... T's and P's for Richard Spencer the Fourth.
Oh.
That was fun while it lasted.
All right, next.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
This one's from our buddy Sir Timothy, who said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Go Gators. Now, I need to say 2 things to Sir Timothy. I agree with everything you just said. The only problem is that the man is Duke, and I don't like any of your chances of doing that. Now, the question is, can you stay close to them?
That's what he's talking about. Right. They knocked off last year's champ. That's the focus first. You can't beat this year's champ until you get to the championship game. There's nothing I can do about them. We're just going to run through what we got going here. We'll worry about Duke when we get there.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
Exactly. Like I can't look ahead because it's just. I mean, you know, that's how depression starts, right? It starts as a little ball and then it steamrolls. I don't want Duke getting to me before they have to. I'd be terrified. I have a basketball team full of NBA All-Stars. Okay, now I'll feel comfortable going up against that team. Otherwise, you should be afraid. All right, another one from Red Sea.
Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money.
He says, ripping on your flight sponsor is a great way to go find. What does that mean? MH370?
I'm going to assume that's a plane that's not a lot of fun to ride on.
Okay, all right.
Well, I don't know that. I call Josh Michael. I guarantee you he knows.
Yeah.
If it can fly, he can tell you what it is. He'll probably tell you where it was built. how it got into the air and all the times it's crashed. I wish I loved anything outside of my wife as much as Josh Michael loves things that fly.
Yeah, no, it's a special hobby.
That's the only thing for me that's close is the NFL draft. And for the rest of this here program, that's what we're talking about.
That's right. We got position rankings starting up. We got the lying season in effect. Lots of quarterback talk, obviously, heading into the draft. Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders at the crux of all of the headlines this weekend. We crank up the draft this season here in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget to go check out NFLDraft.net. We'll return after this on ESPN Asheville.
Taxes was
we're clear.
Your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting a maximum
all
in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Were you uninvited to game night? Do you play board games with the ferocious intensity of an iron-fisted oligarch? Have friends left game night asking, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Right now, during Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale, save up to $600 on top brands and get a free adjustable base. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you find peace of mind. We are here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages and medical expenses. To learn more, visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4VICTIMS.
Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation. Careers with purpose. Compassionate care for all.
My name is Robbie Vorbeck. I'm the Assistant Director of Nursing of Sandstone Health and Rehab. I started my journey with Sandstone as a floor nurse. Sandstone very much likes to promote from within. I've seen a lot of fellow employees grow within the company. They're invested in your personal life, and they're invested in improving each of the residents' lives as well. The opportunities are vast.
Visit sanstonehealth.com.
Join us this March 29th for an evening that blends exceptional music with heartfelt support for Catamount student athletes. Nashville songwriters in concert at WCU Ramsey Center, brought to you by Ingalls Markets. Reserve individual seats starting at just $200 with dinner and drinks included, or grab a general admission ticket for $65 and enjoy the show. Visit KalohiCollective.com or call 828-227-2401 to get your tickets today. Music, food, and a great cause. Don't miss this unforgettable event.
Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports have teamed up under a new local owner to serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Mountain Graphics and Showtime Sports can customize whatever you, your team, or your local group may need with high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving. Visit mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com. That's mtngraphicsavl.com or showtimesportsavl.com for your local one-stop custom apparel shop.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford, Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Decreasing clouds, breezy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs in the low part of the 60s. Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight, all the way down near 40. Breezy and milder Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon approaching 70 degrees. Cooling off again as we head through Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of sunshine, a bit breezy, especially Wednesday. Highs near 60, low 60s Thursday. I'm Ken Boone. with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Atlanta Braves opening day arrives this Thursday as the Braves open the 2025 season on the road in San Diego.
Michael swings and hits one way up in the air. Back to the wall it goes, streaking out of the ballpark. It's a 2-run home run by Michael Harris as the kid strikes again.
Join us for Atlanta Braves baseball all season.
Flying through the sky like a comet to straightaway center field.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back on ESPN Asheville.
At Tractor Supply, we know that a winning season out here takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when it comes to teamwork, it's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life out here.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings.
30 seconds.
The new iHeart app.
This is the one app you need.
Love my presets.
The preset feature is dynamite. Love it.
And I've been telling all my friends about it. They're on the app.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
I said 30 seconds. That was 20 seconds ago.
And now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler. Free never sounded so good. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is live from the Ingalls studio and the NFL Draft.net Mullet Manor as we prepare for the Draftmas. I mean, is it the Draftmas? Because, I mean, it's the Draftmas season. So then...
Well, I mean, no Draftmas is better than any other Draftmas. So
I mean, we do call it Draftmas Eve. So,
but it's not. The
I feel like you
Draftmas.
wish me. I just don't feel like you wish me a happy Draftmas every year, and it just saddens me.
Does Santa tell you? Does Santa tell you Merry Christmas?
Oh, are you Santa Claus?
Listen here, you needy jackal. I'm the one throwing out the gifts off the sleigh. I don't think I owe you a Merry Draftmas. I'm Draftmas.
And a thank you would come in handy.
Yeah, and a cookie and some milk is not quite as much of a thank you as I want.
Don't forget,
would it kill you to leave out a domestic
season.
light and a fireball? Really?
Absolutely. And a nice cheese log.
No, I'm good. Cheese and fireball, that's not a combination that anybody ever wants to see.
What could be the snack?
Oh, a jalapeno popper, a bear ball, it's a nice brisket.
There you go. There you go. That's the answer.
Look, Daddy's been pouring over scout reports since July, so a carbohydrate wouldn't kill you.
No, but a few more may kill you.
Hashtag
sure.
Build
You've been
different.
locked away in the cave. You've been just, I don't know. It concerns me.
You should see my schedule for today because it's mock draft Monday. We are not doing a new mock draft because we're finishing up the 4-rounders from the teams that we haven't done yet. Next Monday, we'll start mock draft Monday every Monday until the Draftmas season.
Okay. All right.
Also, we will be doing our daily Oakland A's mocking reel that I'm going to put up on. I'm going to do it every day.
Yes. Opening day coming up Thursday. Just be prepared. Friday is your first Oakland A's update from Christopher Walken or somebody. I don't know.
Nobody showed up at the stadium. We all sat around with our hot dogs and domestic beers. Really sad.
All right, we've got some rumbles in the lying season here, Jeremy. Apparently the New York Giants, there's word that they're souring on Shedeur Sanders. Is this true?
No, it's not. This is, for me, this is total disinformation put out by the Tennessee Titans because Tennessee does not want to take Cam Ward at 1. They will not take Shedeur Sanders. So if they can find a trade down, they can get either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter and be hunky-dunky. The problem is that nobody seems inclined to trade up to get either of these quarterbacks. Tennessee's like, we finally got the number 1 pick, and nobody wants it.
Call their bluff. I mean, that's what the game is, right? I don't have to do that. There are other options. If I lose out on either of these quarterbacks, is my franchise going to be devastated? And I don't think that answer is yes. Not for either of these. Not for Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jaxson Dart. They're not that kind of prospect.
This quarterback class is LMNO bad. I actually heard a lying season rumor that I believe, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers are not in love with Jaxson Dart, and they do not view him. They have a second-round grade on him because they see Kenny Pickett all over again. I don't agree with that, but I understand how you got there.
Really? Did you, just based on talent, are they in the same realm?
No,
no. Jaxson Dart,
you're missing the comp. The comp is that the industry has told you that they're lower than that. You take them that high, and then you look like morons. No, it's not a physical. That's not a comp to a comp. That's a perception-based comp.
Okay, all right.
Look, I have Jaxson Dart ahead of Shedeur Sanders, so obviously I like him better than most.
Right. Okay.
I will also say I do keep hearing the comparison of 2021. This quarterback class is better than that. If you recall, I told you that every quarterback in that class would get somebody fired, and outside of Kenny Pickett, I was right. And the only reason he didn't get anybody fired is because he played for about 15 minutes. They saw him on a field twice and went, oh, no, he sucks. No. Mason Rudolph. Go let him get his brains bashed out again. It's fine.
My favorite meme take from over the weekend was the New York Giants just need to go out and get Travis Hunter now because he's a two-way player and he can play wide receiver on Jameis Winston's good throws and he can play cornerback on the bad throws. He's the perfect answer for the New York Giants.
I'm not going to lie. I haven't seen that, but that's pretty good.
It's great. It is great. He can play. he fits Jameis Winston perfectly. So in light of the lying season and the quarterback news, we figured we would start with quarterback rankings here. Flostradamus, your number 1 quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft class.
That's Cam Ward. It's Cam Ward. And anybody that tells you it's not Cam Ward is a lunatic. And I'll say that. I'll say that to any draft analyst in the country. If your 1 is not Cam Ward, you are not very good at this. And I get I'm trying to be cute. No, Shedeur Sanders could be better. Well, yeah. And a bullfrog could be a rodeo clown, but it's probably not real likely. So I'm playing percentages here. Cam Ward doesn't have a ton of miss. The problem is, what does a hit look like? All right, so Cam Ward on the highest of high side. You are not as draft nerdy as I am, but you have seen a lot of Cam Ward. What does that look like to you?
What does what look like?
A success for
His
Cam
career?
Ward. Like if he matches what the eval and everything says for him, what does that? He becomes a top blank quarterback in the NFL.
16, top half.
That's about where I'm at. I don't see a way that he's going to pass the C.J. Strouds, the Jaden Daniels. He's just not that kind of prospect. So if you're okay pushing yourself into mediocrity at quarterback and you think you can build the roster around him, that's fine. Look, Jalen Hurts just won a Super Bowl. He's not a top 16 quarterback. He's not. He has a top 1 of 1 roster. And he was able to mitigate his deficiencies because they built a team around him that was perfect for him. They played really good defense. They had the best running game in the NFL, and he could hit a shot every once in a while. You can win that way. It's really hard. Really hard. And it takes a few years to get the roster in line. And you better hope Mike Borgonzi, if it's Tennessee, is way better at drafting than he is signing free agents. Because after giving $20 million to Dan Moore, I'm not going to lie, he gives me the angina. Just it makes my chest tight in a way that usually only a real good double quarter pounder from McDonald's can. But look, I mean, Cam's he's mobile, he's accurate, he's good. I just don't think he's great at anything. And I go all the way back to Incarnate Word. He's had mechanical deficiencies since the first time I ever saw him. That's never changed. He also plays hero ball a little bit more often than I want a number 1 quarterback to do because it leads to some really bad decisions, leads to a higher turnover-worthy play rate. His is higher than Shedeur's. We're going to talk about that in a minute. That's actually not the positive you think it is. And so there is a little bit of, but with Cam Ward. He can do everything. I just don't know that he is elite at anything. And if I go back to my rankings over the last handful of years, he would have been the 5th quarterback in last year's class. Because I have him 0.1 points behind Michael Penix and just ahead of J.J. McCarthy and several tenths of a point ahead of Bo Nix, who I had a 3rd-round grade on.
But just like that 2021 class, this is a bad year. This is a bad year to have a top pick and need a quarterback.
The difference is that every prospect in 2021 was awful. Like, Kenny, if you remember, I crucified that class up and down. If you're thinking Malik Willis is an NFL starting quarterback, you have a drug problem. Because that is the only explanation that I have of you could watch that tape and go, yeah, I'm turning my franchise over to this guy. He struggled reading defenses at Liberty. What the hell did you think was going to happen when he got to the NFL? He was just all of a sudden going to get better?
Cam Ward's better than what Tennessee has, but Tennessee doesn't have weapons. They don't have – this is not a situation that I would like for him.
The problem that I have –
I'm not just saying Cam.
The problem that I've had with Cam Ward going to Tennessee is that Tennessee didn't do anything to put pieces around Cam Ward that makes me think that they're bought in. I feel like Cam Ward will be okay, you forced my hand. Nobody would take our dollars. We can't get a vet to compete with Will Levis, and we're going to do what we have to do. But you've got Brian Callahan, who's already one step down because last year was a disaster. You got a new GM. New GMs like bringing in their quarterbacks. I get it. I don't think they're bought and sold on Cam Ward. I think if they had their druthers, they'd take Abdul Carter and let Cam Ward be somebody else's problem.
Honestly, I hope that's what they do.
If I was a Titan fan, that's what I'd be rooting for too.
Yes, exactly. I would be looking at this going, because I think he's not worth a number 1 pick. Why spend that kind of capital on a guy who's not the guy?
He's a fringe
when I could
1-2 for me. I have now my final grades are done. I have 22 solidified first-round grades in this class. Every year I go through my board and basically I've got 22 ones. There are 32 picks in that round. That means I will have 10 fringe 1-2 grades there's 32 picks. So I've got to have 32 guys that I'm okay with taking with those last 10 picks. Cam Ward's one of those. If you told me that the Pittsburgh Steelers took him at 20, okay, then now I'm good. He has to carry a franchise that's not very good. Okay, now I need a Tums or a Malox or whatever to settle my stomach because I have the green apple splatters.
Right. With Cam Ward, is Tennessee a team that will not be drafting at the top of the draft next year?
Yes. They'll be picking in the top 8 with Cam Ward next year. As good as he could possibly be, that roster's not good enough. And this is the number one thing that leads to bust of quarterbacks is not that we misevaluate the quarterback. We misevaluate the roster around the quarterback. I'll go all the way back to Ryan Leaf. Look at the roster that was around him. Yeah, he was a train wreck between the ears that was doing recreational crimes. He contributed to a lot of that. Jamarcus Russell was a complete train wreck. You take those guys out of it and just look at the guys that were put in a god-awful situation like David Carr. Nobody could have succeeded there. I think offensively right now with the Tennessee Titans, nobody can succeed there. You're a year away from that. Don't shoehorn a quarterback into that. You're setting a pick on fire.
That's where I'm at. I would love Abdul Carter going in to be a pass rush threat. I'd like Travis Hunter better.
I don't love Travis Hunter with the Titans solely because they invested in Awuzie and they invested in L'Jarius Sneed. So really at that point he's becoming somebody's got to play out of the slot. None of those guys do that all that well. For me, for the Titans, it's either Cam Ward or it's Abdul Carter. I would go Abdul Carter. I'm not sure what they're going to do yet. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not just shoehorning. They don't have a quarterback. They have to take Cam Ward. I think they are okay doing it. I don't think they're jumping up and down about it.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll continue with Flostradamus's quarterback rankings for the 2025 NFL Draft when we come back.
Join us this March 29th for an evening that blends exceptional.
Now we're clear.
Heartfelt support for Catamount student athletes. Nashville songwriters in concert at WCU Ramsey Center, brought to you by Ingalls Markets. Reserve individual seats starting at just $200 with dinner and drinks included. Or grab a general admission ticket for $65 and enjoy the show. Visit KalohiCollective.com or call 828-227-2401 to get your tickets today. Music, food, and a great cause.
Roger that.
Unforgettable event.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer. Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning. The cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
In the Sportsocracy, we like to make jokes, and we make jokes about doing ball things. Well, nobody does balls quite like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Bear balls, mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread, fried and topped with a cheese sauce and bacon. You can see why they like to talk about their balls so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game.
Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time. The moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the hardest hit areas in those first hours. Like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And the NFL Draft is right around the corner. It'll be here in just 1 month, Jeremy.
28 days from Thursday.
Oh, all right. You're faster than I thought.
Over 31 days away. 31 days from the NFL Draft.
Yes.
Which means we are 37 days away from Jeremy crawling into a hole Aaron Rodgers style and you not seeing this bearded idiot for about a month.
He's going to go ayahuasca into the darkness.
I'm scared of doing ayahuasca. They're like, the deep recesses of your mind come out. And I'm like, have you seen the deep recesses of my mind? You do not want that inside to come outside. Nope. I promise.
No, we do not. We do not. Quarterback rankings, the number one quarterback in the class is Cam Ward out of Miami, the NCAA's all-time leading touchdown passer. Number 2 in this class,
Dart.
Jeremy, is not Shedeur Sanders. It is your boyfriend. Go ahead.
It's Jaxson Dart.
Jaxson Dart.
Look, I've said this a lot of times, and I will continue to say it. I said this about Eli Manning when he came out. If Shedeur Sanders' name was Shedeur Smith, we would not be talking about him in the first round, period. Because he's not that guy. Jaxson Dart, on the other hand, I see a raw talent with him that, is it risky? Absolutely. In most other draft classes, we would not be talking about him getting into the first round. I saw the story that Pittsburgh doesn't have a first-round grade on him. That's fine, because he's not going to get to you anyway. He's not going to fall to 20. He's going in the top 19. He has one of the best pressure grades of any of the quarterbacks in this class because he doesn't fall to pieces. The knock on him is that at Ole Miss, he was in a pick-and-pop offense that kind of dictated where the throws went. He hasn't gone through the progressions the way that you want an NFL quarterback to do. My argument to that is he did at USC. So when I was talking about him being the number 1 overall pick in the draft at USC 3 years ago, he wasn't playing in this offense. He went to Ole Miss and he got better. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in this class. He's hyper accurate. The knock on him is the inconsistency because he will miss a maddeningly simple throw. He did this against Georgia. This was actually the tape where I started thinking, okay, there's a possibility he's going to go in the first round. And I had kind of already chalked that up because every time he did that and he had the disaster of missing the wide open receiver across the middle, what did he do on the next throw? It's the best 4 throws he had in the entire game. So he's coming back from the hiccup and doing the special and the spectacular. I think he has a high side that not even Cam Ward has. If you told me to bet one of these quarterbacks was going to make a Pro Bowl, I would bet on Jaxson Dart.
Okay.
Because he has some intoxicating tape. I like the way PFF said it, is that he's experienced in throwing concept routes that put a single defender in conflict. There's a merit to that because he's really good at it. He's really good at doing it as check with me at the line. As everybody thinks Lane Kiffin just did everything in that offense, I don't think he does. I think Jaxson Dart had some power that none of these other quarterbacks have had because that offense looked different. Because he could put guys into those bad situations. Then there's the yeah, but of he lacks anticipation when making full field reads. He does. He also wasn't asked to do that very often. And I hate to tell you this, but that line right there is exactly what burned me on C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's better than I evaluated him to be because he never did it, and I thought he couldn't do it. I am now much more careful to say, no, we just was never asked to do it. Ole Miss had a talent efficiency compared to the teams they were playing most weeks. And if you don't believe me, look at how many of their guys are getting ready to get drafted in this class. Because they could break a record depending on how day 3 goes.
So he was playing with a lot of talent. Does that concern you?
Not really, because he always looked like the same guy to me. Because this is where, when I evaluate quarterbacks, the difference between me and other evaluators is I'm not always looking at the end result. I'm looking at the process. I'm not looking at, did your receiver beat a guy down the field? I don't give a damn about that. Doesn't mean anything to me because that receiver's not going with you to the NFL. What I'm looking at is, when you made the decision, why did you make the decision? When you set this play up and you're looking at how the defense translates, can you pick up that 2 high, the 3 high, the 4 high? We're in quarters. I got to attack here. Jaxson Dart does that regularly. The result is where people get screwed up because you start taking guys like Jamarcus Russell that can just overthrow a defense. I don't care about any of that. I want to see how your brain works when you're running through the defense. And you see what lines up. When I'm looking at all 22 tape, where that ball goes should really be in line with what I'm seeing. Not because I'm some great quarterback. I'm not. I'm a scout that can sit here and tell you exactly what a defense is going to do when I'm looking up over top of the play. If you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, I like your process. And he did that a lot, which leads to number 3, who he didn't. Hardly ever.
Number 3,
Shedeur Sanders. If we played flag football, Shedeur Sanders would be the number 1 pick in this draft. It would not be close. The problem is we don't.
And all his dancing around in the backfield is just going to get him in trouble at the next level?
Well, actually, it's the lack of dancing around that bothers me. He might be the most immobile quarterback that I have seen in the last handful of years. It's almost off-putting how unathletic he actually is. And then you get down this rabbit hole of why do you make the decisions that you make? And look, this is a much bigger topic that I'm not going to get into at the moment. This kid played 2 years at Jackson State. He played 2 years at Colorado, 1 in the Pac-12, 1 in the Big 12. He's never seen a good defense in his life, ever. He has never seen an NFL level, even in the ballpark, caliber of defense in his entire life. The closest he has ever come was Nebraska, which was, quite honestly, one of the most god-awful tapes I've ever seen in my life. Of all my years evaluating quarterbacks, I walked away from Nebraska and went, I could not, in good conscience, take this kid in the first 3 rounds based off what I just saw. Because they absolutely tormented him. That was with, oh, by the way, 4 draftable receivers. One's elite. The other 3 are all day 3 guys. But they're all draftable. What would you have done against mediocre defenses with lesser receivers? His arm is intoxicating. He's got great touch on a football. He is hyper accurate when his feet are set and everything is in neutral. The problem is, the minute you heat him up, he's a different quarterback. They don't even look like the same guy. I mean, he is an undraftable prospect under pressure. And what do you think he's going to see at the NFL level? What did you just see out of Aaron Rodgers with the New York Jets? Teams figured out the Jets can't pick up blitzes. So what happened? I'm just going to blitz you on every single play because you can't beat it. And that's where I'm at with Shedeur. And I don't know that he's ever going to get better. Screen yards, he was 8th among all quarterbacks in college football. Deep yards, he was 4th. I've never seen a combination like that in all my years of evaluating quarterbacks. Because you know what that means? Everything you're doing is sleight of hand magic. You're running a lot of fake screens, a lot of bubbles, a lot of get the ball in a playmaker's hand, get it out of Shedeur's because we don't trust him with the ball in his hand. Or you're running off play action. You're running off deep concepts. You're running a lot of digs. They ran a ton of those at Colorado. And it is shocking how often he missed the window. So on a dig route, what you're looking for is the safety to either drop forward or play forward. Because it's basically a rub off each other. It's a basic dagger concept. I got one guy going deep. I got one guy that's cutting across the middle. It was shocking how many times the safety could just bite hook, line, and sinker. And Shedeur would stare the receiver down and not throw it. Which leads me to my biggest qualm with Shedeur Sanders. Big time throw rate was 5%. That's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Turnover worthy play was 1.3%. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means you're never pressing the ball. It means you're so scared of making a mistake that you're never pressing the ball into something that you don't know you can get it into. Guess what? It does not work that way in the NFL. You have to be able to make big-time plays. And he just doesn't do it. I have the same knock on Shedeur Sanders that I had on Caleb Williams last year. You're too protective of the football, and you're too talented to be this sheepish because you're going to come into the NFL and it's going to get worse. You were playing against glorified intramural teams in the Pac-12 and the Big 12, and you couldn't cut those defenses to pieces. What's going to happen when you go up against Steve Spagnuolo? What's going to happen when you go up against Jim Schwartz or Vic Fangio or Robert Saleh? These guys that have made a living out of just manipulating the eyes of quarterbacks. They're going to kill you.
Especially when you have to do that with only Malik Neighbors to throw to.
To me, it is a zero net game. And if he were to fall by the Giants, I don't know how far he could fall. I've heard the Saints at 9. I've heard he could get all the way to Pittsburgh at 20. Because there's just not many teams that are in love with him. Because he's hard to be in love with. The best way I can explain Shedeur Sanders is he's like the really hot girl you meet at a bar, but every third word out of her mouth makes you go, that's scary. I came after my ex-boyfriend with a butcher knife. Awesome. That's whoa. I'm sure that's good. I'm sure there was a reason. This is my pet snake. We call him Peaches. He sleeps with me. Oh, good God. Please stop talking. Just could you be mute for a while and just be really attractive because everything you say scares the bejesus out of me.
Only analogies that you can get right here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1,400 top 3 quarterbacks of the 2025 NFL draft class. Cam Ward, number 2, Jaxson Dart. Number 3, Shedeur Sanders. We'll give you the rest of the list. Coming up next.
This is your Exergen
Clear
forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Decreasing clouds, breezy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs to low part of the 60s.
Probably shouldn't if you want to do 10 of these.
Breezy and milder Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon approaching 70 degrees. Cooling off again as we head through Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of sunshine, a bit breezy, especially Wednesday. Highs near 60, low 60s Thursday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever.
perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code RADIO for an extra 5% off.
Listeners are always asking about QC Kinetics treatment. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Trouble sleeping, walking day-to-day movement. Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back? Walking, golfing, jogging? If you answered yes to any of those, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Tractor Supply knows that a winning season takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when you have a neighbor like Tractor Supply, teamwork comes easy. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, our team members will help you succeed. Season after season. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, we found out a lot of things about our community. We saw neighbors helping neighbors, and we learned in desperate times one of the best things to have around is a redneck with a chainsaw.
Not just a chainsaw, boy, just country boys in general. When you live in these mountains, you figure it out. Like, you make stuff happen.
After answering the calls for help that they heard on the radio, the Chainsaw Brothers are still here, making it happen the right way. Fair, insured, and local. Need tree help? Call the Chainsaw Brothers. 316-1013. 316-1013.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. Our purpose, to improve lives with every interaction. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Like Daniel, a veteran who accompanied law enforcement and other veterans to perform search and rescue operations. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
We're back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL draft, according to at ESPN Draft Nerd, Jeremy Greene. Of course, you can check out all of his rankings at NFLDraft.net. Cam Ward, Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders. Now, their value is all in the first round, correct? Because that's where they're going to be drafted.
No. Cam Ward's a fringe 1-2. Jaxson Dart's a solidified 2. Shedeur Sanders is a solidified 3. And then we get into there's after the next guy, there's a drop.
Okay. So your 4 is close to Shedeur.
Yes. It's Tyler Shuck.
Excuse me?
If I was taking a stab at a quarterback in this class, it would be Tyler Shuck. And yes, his last name rhymes with duck, not Shelf. The next person I hear calling Tyler Shelf, I'm going to lose my mind.
Shuff.
Tyler Shuff. No, well, my name is not J. Remy Greene, so his name is Tyler Shuck. He's a big-bodied kid.
Which makes zero sense.
I think he's more athletic than people have seen. The injury issues with him, basically, I was told his medical came back completely clean. He had 2 broken collarbones and I think it was a tib fib, and none of that's structural. But he had a bone density test done just to show that he doesn't have brittle bones. And really, outside of the medical, that's the only hang-up I really have on him. He's big-bodied. He's 6'5". He ran well. He's hyper-mobile. I mean, are there things that he has to do better? For sure. We talked about Tyler Shuck being the first quarterback off the board in this class for a solid year before he started getting hurt. Now, that was 3 years out, but he has that kind of talent. And now people are seeing it. He absolutely crushed the combine. He would talk to anybody that would put a microphone in front of him, myself included. He's a really easy kid to get behind. Now, if you want the deficiencies, he did have 3 season-ending medical issues. He is 25 years old, and his best football was when he was 25 years old. So, I mean, he falls into that Kenny Pickett rule. I don't love that. He had some issues against pressure, and he's really mobile when you watch him at the combine. You didn't always see how mobile he was at Louisville because certain times he would take the deep drop and just never get up in the pocket to make the throw. I think all of those things can be coached. I believe if I was just taking a shot, like I got to have a quarterback. If I were the Giants, this is the path I would go. I would take Tyler Shuck. I would take Travis Hunter at 3, and then I would project taking Tyler Shuck wherever I thought I had to get him.
3rd round?
I don't think he gets out of the 2nd. I have a 3rd round or I have a fringe 3rd round grade on him, but I don't think he gets out of the 2nd round. I put him in that. You remember Hendon Hooker getting drafted by Detroit a few years ago, and everybody started talking about in the very end of the process he was going to go at the end of the 1st round. That's going to happen with Tyler Shuck too, because teams love this kid. The problem is that nobody's going to pull the trigger on it because he is older. This kid will be 30 years old if he goes in the 1st round. The first time he hits free agency.
Is he an NFL starter?
I think he
on
can be in the right situation. You know what he reminds me of?
Okay.
And you know how much I like the name I'm getting ready to say. He reminds me of Tanner McKee. Okay. And you remember how much I liked him coming out of Stanford. Then what he showed 2 games in Philadelphia, I like them both. I think they both, I mean, are they ever going to be top 25 guys? No, probably not. But are they going to lose you games? I don't think so.
Taking that guy in the 2nd round seems just odd to me. But
we do it every year, especially when the drop-off is as significant as what I'm about to say.
Okay, who is the next guy in line?
My 5 is Quinn Ewers.
All right, how did we end up here? Quinn Ewers was once thought to be the next guy. It never panned out on the field. And how do we end up here where Tyler Shuck is a much better prospect than he is?
Because the tape on Tyler Shuck is consistently better. You know, I've talked about pressure grade. You know who has the lowest pressure grade of any quarterback in this class? Quinn Ewers. He's god-awful against the blitz. He makes terrible decisions. You look at the blow-up play he had against Ohio State. They were inside the 20-yard line with a chance to go to a national championship game. And what happened? Quinn Ewers imploded. And you watch it happen time after time after time after time. I can't figure out if you love Shedeur Sanders, I can't figure out how you don't love Quinn Ewers. Because they're the same guy. They just played at markedly different levels of competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the deficiencies with Quinn because he's played better competition.
Right.
I also don't think he spends it as consistently well as Shedeur does. And that's why there's a discrepancy between the two. But if you're just looking for an arm that is, I will say his arm is really good when it's good. It's really bad when it's bad. Just because he's so inconsistent. He drops his elbow more often than about any quarterback I've ever evaluated. And it just leads to, there are times you watch deep balls from Quinn Ewers and go, I'm not even sure that landed with who you were throwing it to. But he had so much speed on the outside between Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond. You've had so many guys. A.D. Mitchell. You've had so many guys that can win on the outside. You should be a better deep ball thrower than this because you were put in a prime position to do it well. You just didn't. There were times that Quinn Ewers looked like he could be a first-round pick. There were other times that Quinn Ewers was so maddening it made you want to pull your hair out at the root.
And the one thing we heard about, his inconsistencies was he's banged up. Always.
Well, his medical's got to be a minefield.
It seemed to be a constant story.
He was always hurt. And I didn't even get to that point, mainly because I don't care. That doesn't really have anything to do with the eval on him. Where he is at, he's a lottery ticket. Okay, let's say Steve Sarkisian is just an absolutely god-awful quarterback developer, and he went there and stagnated, and I think I can bring him into my system. He's still 2 years away from being a year away. So you can it's like the $20 scratcher at the gas station. You could win $1 million, or you could have just set $20 on fire. And if you're comfortable with that, cool, take him in the 4th round.
Yep.
If you're not, I'll probably see what I'm trying to think of this random name I can think. Jeff Driscoll. I'll see what he's doing.
All right, at number 6.
There's a pretty significant drop-off here to Kyle McCord. And if you had told me going into this year I would have Kyle McCord as the number 6 quarterback in this class, I swear to God I would have had you committed. I hated his tape at Ohio State with every fiber of my being. But he went to Syracuse, and it was good. He was good. Handled pressure well. Was really good, not under pressure. The problem with Kyle McCord has, and probably always will be, he is so inconsistent with NFL throws. He can hit you with a deep ball. He throws a screen pass absolutely beautifully. He's got a quick release, just pinpoint accurate, inside of 5 yards and over 40. The problem is about 80% of the throws you make are not in those windows. And that's where he scares me to death. Mm-hmm. Because there are times that he will make a read pre-snap, and you can tell he's locked into no matter what happens in front of me, I'm going to throw to what I saw pre-snap. And if he gets fooled, may God have mercy on his soul, because he will throw some of the most ungodly interceptions you've ever seen. I saw that more at Ohio State than I did at Syracuse. But you also got to realize what he had at Syracuse. He had one of the best hands catchers at running back that I've ever seen in LaQuinn Allen. He had a Rondé Gadsden II, who is, I don't know how he became a tight end, because he played receiver last year. He played the exact same position this year, and yet he worked out with the tight ends at the combine. So I guess I'm not going to say that, but you could infer where I was headed with that. He's a tight end now. Yay. So brave. Kyle McCord is... He's not a great prospect, but he's the next of that line.
All right, at number 7.
Oh, by the way,
another guy who spent 8 years in college.
The PFF comp on Kyle McCord is a combination of Baker Mayfield and Brock Purdy. I just saw that for the first time, and now I can't unsee it. No wonder I don't like him, because you remind people of 2 guys that I like even less than I like you.
All right, number 7 is another veteran.
Will Howard. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what all of you are seeing with him. He was never an NFL quarterback prospect until he went to Ohio State and had the best team in America around him. Okay, so he's decently athletic for a big kid. Woo. Will Howard, to me, looks like the kid that Disney would cast to play an actual honest-to-God quarterback in a remake of a movie about a good quarterback. I mean, yeah, if I close my eyes and I watch just throws in a phone booth with him, okay, I mean, he looks like he could be a serviceable NFL 2 for the next 10 years. That's probably what he is. We started that first round thing with him, and I went, No. I will deal with some crazy. I'm not dealing with full on like fun with feces crazy, which is what you're doing right now. That's what happens when kids play with poo.
Do we go game manager with Will Howard? Is that
no? Because he's
that
not.
Where we're at? Like
no, because he's
with
not.
With all of the weapons that he had around him at Ohio State, he can just manage the game and not turn it over.
So Will Howard was really good at getting the ball in the hand of really talented players. The problem is he didn't really do anything that ever made me think that was a high-level throw that Kyle McCord wouldn't have made. Or it was a lot of scheme. It was a lot of Chip Kelly. And if you tell me a quarterback gets overdrafted in this class that's not named Shedeur Sanders, I bet my house it's Will Howard.
All right, that'll bring us to another guy who's going to get way overdrafted.
Again,
number 8.
This is not even that I like the kid. It's just that I can't put you any lower because the other guys are all going to be selling car insurance in like a year. It's Jalen Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Milroe is not an NFL quarterback. I don't care if he ran a 4.37. I don't care if he ran a 3.47. I don't care how fast he is. I knew he was fast. He cannot throw. To save his life, he cannot throw. And if it's a disguised defense of any form, whoa. There's an interception he threw against Vanderbilt on his own 15-yard line that is legit the worst read I've ever seen, followed by the worst throw I've ever seen. It is the single worst play I've ever seen a draft-eligible quarterback make. And that was enough for me. I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't like him in the first place. The minute I saw that, I went, I wouldn't draft you if there were 40 rounds in this draft. I would never get to the point where I put your name on a card and said, that's my guy.
Yeah. As always, though, somebody's going to be intoxicated with the physicality.
You know, because he does kind of remind you of Jalen Hurts because he is a physical power runner, and he's faster than Jalen. The problem is that his ability to diagnose a defense is about 2% of Jalen Hurts. This is that comp to me is the Cat Williams Chrysler 300 thing. Yeah, it looks like a Phantom till a Phantom drive by.
Right. All right, and let's go from one solid runner to another. Number 9 from Notre Dame.
It's Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard.
He's fine. I don't think he's a good thrower of the football. I think he is. Riley Leonard to me is the guy that I want backing up Jalen Hurts 2 years from now. He's the guy I want backing up Lamar Jackson, not because they're similar runners, but because he is insanely smart. I met his parents at the Senior Bowl. Actually, and I'm not even telling the whole story. I met his parents' neighbors at a barbecue restaurant in Alabama, and then his parents were at the game. This kid's super smart. Like, just insanely good voice in the room. I just don't think he can really play at the next level. His arm is nowhere near what you want it to be.
No, he's no more than than like a Brett Rippon. Like somebody that might get into a game here and there.
The thing that scares me the most,
he might make a play.
The thing that scares me the most about Riley Leonard is that in early downs, he was the lowest rated quarterback in the class on first and second down. Those are running downs. Those should be your honey hole. You should be preying on defenses when they have it in the back of their head that you could run. He was worse. And that's enough for me to just draftable, yes. Do I trust anything that's going to come out of it? No.
All right, let's go number 10.
The Canadan, Curtis Rourke. Another good in the building.
Yeah.
He's good in the building. He doesn't have a very strong arm. He is, if we played good old-fashioned Bill Walsh West Coast football, he could legit be a solid backup quarterback in that because they never really pushed it over the top. He's got good size. He's got a decent arm inside of 20 yards. There's just not much there that makes me think there's much growth. Plus, he's already 24 years old.
Yep. Number 11 is Seth Hennigan from Memphis.
Curtis Rourke is destined to win a Grey Cup and be the MVP of that game. I'm just throwing that out there. Seth Hennigan, I was not super fond of until I watched him at the Senior Bowl. And in that situation, I did notice that he's got a really legit deep ball. And I saw it on tape, but I thought it was an AAC thing. He can absolutely spin it deep. The problem is he's borderline terrible underneath. He's the definition of the Mark McGuire. He can crush a 480-yard home run. He is going to strike out a lot. But man, if you ever figure out how to teach him how to hit the single and the double, he could be a player 2 or 3 years from now. Also,
right,
probably destined for the XFL. But
Dylan Gabriel at 12, and Donovan Smith at 13.
Yeah, Donovan Smith. Those two are the exact opposite of each other. Dylan Gabriel has played so much football that I don't see a way he doesn't end up on an NFL practice squad. He's just so little. I mean, he looked like a little kid next to me. I mean, I think he measured in at 5'10". He looks 5'4". There's a picture of him with Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, and he looks 5 inches shorter than both of them. But he does have some intangibles. I don't see much there. He's the UDFA for me. Donovan Smith's the exact opposite. Donovan Smith is a physical marvel. The only problem is that you watch the tape and go, hey, why are you not, if you're like built like Thor, why are you not gooder at this? Because you're super bad at times. But he's got the mobility, he's got the big arm. I could see how a team would use a draft pick on him to put him on their practice squad. And if you could develop him into something 2 or 3 years from now, great. If not, then you set a 7th round pick on fire.
Top 13 quarterbacks of the 2025 NFL Draft coming up next month. We're just a month away from the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Here in the Sportsocracy, we'll talk wide receivers after the break. Clear.
Ego days are here at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery with purchase of a Select trimmer, blower, or mower kit.
Absolutely.
Shop today for new and exclusive items you need for your lawn. So get ready for spring with the latest in innovation from Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Only at Lowe's. We help, you save. Offer valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Ever wake up feeling lousy, knowing something is off with your body? You don't have time for guesswork. You need Viome. Forget all the generic health fads. Viome doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what's actually going on inside your body. By analyzing your gut microbiome, Viome delivers a custom health plan that's as unique as your DNA. It's science, not nonsense. Want energy? Want better digestion? Viome has your back. Stop trusting amateurs. Go to Viome.com for a personalized gut professional now. Call StarStar Gut to get $50 off a full body intelligence test. That's StarStar 488 to receive a link to the offer.
Listeners are always asking about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Trouble sleeping, walking day-to-day movement. Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? And most importantly, do you miss doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back? Walking, golfing, jogging? If you answered yes to any of those, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
Bears Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville is back. Join us on the 29th at Bears on the South Slope for a lighthearted rage-releasing benefit party appropriately named To Hell with Helene. We'll exercise some demons together. A little axe throwing, a pie eating contest, mechanical bull rides. There'll be live music and, of course, great barbecue. Proceeds from the party will support Linked for Life, a mental health initiative. Say To Hell with Helene with us at Bears Smokehouse Grand Reopening downtown March 29th.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Decreasing clouds, breezy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs in the low part of the 60s. Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight, on the way down near 40. Breezy and milder Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon approaching 70 degrees. Cooling off again as we head through Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of sunshine, a bit breezy, especially Wednesday. Highs near 60, low 60s Thursday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 100 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Atlanta Braves opening day arrives this Thursday as the Braves open the 2025 season on the road in San Diego.
Michael swings and hits one way up in the air. Back to the wall it goes, streaking out of the ballpark. It's a two-run home run by Michael Harris as the kid strikes again.
Join us for Atlanta Braves baseball all season.
Flying through the sky like a comet to straightaway center field.
Atlanta Braves baseball is back on ESPN Asheville.
Good morning, guys. I just want to warn you, traffic is tough out there.
We are here for you to tell you how to keep safe.
Everybody who is listening needs to take cover as soon as they can.
To provide the music, talk, and sport you love. And to deliver the news that matters to you. We are the voices you can trust. We are live and local. We are America's broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress you depend on your local radio stations.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to STOP.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Tractor Supply knows that a winning season takes practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when you have a neighbor like Tractor Supply, teamwork comes easy. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, our team members will help you succeed. Season after season. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief, with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Now we're coming back.
ESPN Asheville, your #1 preset in a car, and now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WPEK Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, W225CJ Candler. Free never sounded so good. Live from the Ingles studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog eat! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. We're seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat each and every day. I am coming to you from the Ingalls studio. I'm Tank Spencer, and he is Flostradamus Jeremy Greene, coming to you from the NFLDraft.net Mullet Manor. Still can't get him back to the studio.
You learn how to put all this together, we can talk. But at the rate I'm doing draft interviews, this has to be set up in this house every day. So I'm like spot welded to this chair at this point. So, and I really don't want to be spot welded to that studio at iHeart. I'd like to see my wife every once in a while.
Well, it's I feel like you should want to see me more, but that's fine.
I see you plenty. I see you plenty there, Hot
Rod. Yeah, no more Hot Rod. We're getting off the scooter. Got the stitches out of the foot today, and I got some work to do, but we'll get back to speed here shortly. I'm very excited. I was so excited to be able to wash my foot for the first time in a month after going to the doctor this morning. We're talking NFL Draftmas season, as always, here in the Sportsocracy, and Flostradamus laying his quarterback rankings on us, the top 13. So he wants to do pass catchers next, which I guess there is a correlation there. Your number one wide receiver for this upcoming 2025 NFL draft class.
Well,
is who?
The first one is actually an asterisk.
Okay. Why?
Because my one, I'm not sure ever plays wide receiver for more than a handful of snaps a game, and that's Travis Hunter.
Oh, he's the best wide receiver?
He's the best wide receiver in this class.
Talent-wise?
Yes. He's the best wide receiver in this class. He is not of this earth. And if he had come out right now and just said, I'm only playing wide receiver, I would have had him, I'll say 8 overall. If he had said, I'm only playing corner, I would have had him 5 overall. The fact that I think he's going to try to play both has him number 1.
Mm-hmm. Number 1 player in this class. And why do I not feel like everybody's fighting over him? They should be, right? Shouldn't everyone be fighting over him? Tennessee, New York Giants. Shouldn't he be the focus rather than a quarterback?
Yes, in a way. The problem with guys like Travis Hunter is that you leave so much up to interpretation that it's hard for anybody to get a real beat on you. So at the Combine, we asked all top 5 teams, where would you play Travis Hunter? We got 2 that said we would play him predominantly at corner. We got 2 more that said we would play him predominantly at wide receiver. And we only got 1 that said we really think he could and should play both.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what he's going to play. That's what makes it so hard to evaluate him. I love him as a corner. I love him as a wide receiver. I don't know how anybody, no matter how athletic you are, is going to hold up to playing 80, 90, 100 snaps a week. I've never seen anybody do it, so I can't. I don't have a comp.
I don't think it's possible.
Oh, it's possible.
I don't think it's possible to do that.
Oh, it's possible. And he's very dogmatic that he's going to do it. He was almost bullish on do not evaluate me as only a corner, do not evaluate me as only a wide receiver, because I want to play both, and I intend on playing both.
Mm-hmm. And who's going to have the stones to allow him to do that?
New England. I think he would play both in New England. Now, New England's probably the least likely team to take him because I'm not really sure where he fits playing corner. Because you've already got Christian Gonzalez. You just signed Carlton Davis. All right, so what are you going to do? Ask him to play in the slot? Christian Gonzalez did that at one time, and it was not as productive as what we've seen on the outside. So that doesn't really make sense.
Bill Workman says Hunter on a team where he could be the number 2 corner and the number 3 wide receiver would be the dream spot for him. That's why when we were talking about Tennessee earlier, I kept looking at that going, okay, he would be the one. He would be the best wide receiver that they have.
And he would be the third corner.
But it would also allow him to, only play, I don't want to say sparingly, but not have to be out there every down when you have, L'Jarius Sneed and Roger McCready.
So who plays in the slot? You have L'Jarius Sneed. You also have Shedeur Sanders, who you signed last year.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a spot. That's why Tennessee makes absolutely no sense to me. Tennessee doesn't really make sense. Cleveland does. Because Cleveland, he would push probably Martin Emerson out, and he would be the number 1 wide receiver. Look, if we were doing this the right way, Abdul Carter would go 1, Travis Hunter would go 2, the draft would start at 3. There is less than 0 chance that that's how this is going to go. Because I think his fit with the Giants is a little clunky. Him and Neighbors together would be fun, but you've got issues with how he lines up defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just – you asked why is everybody not fighting over him? Because there's a yeah but with him with every single team. Where, yes, he can do both of these things. We don't really have a spot for him. And if we make a spot for him, all right, Tennessee, I'll give you a great example. They move on from Shedeur Sanders. Yep. What happens if he can't hold up playing wide receiver and corner? I just gave up a corner for absolutely no reason. Needed an edge rusher. I gave up a corner that's a pretty good player. He wasn't good last year. But I gave up a good player because you could play both, and now you can't play both. You don't hold up. You can't take to 2 NFL playbooks. There are a lot of potential issues there. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to look like a moron.
Yeah. But if I'm wrong, I also have 2 others they could play.
You're not going to keep all 4 of those guys on the roster because they all think they're starters. See, now you're getting into a deeper conversation of how do I look at 2 vets and go, we're going to replace you with this guy unless it doesn't work. And then if it doesn't work, we'll just slide him over to wide receiver. Cool. Get me out of here immediately. By the way, have I referenced the fact that you're not good and you're asking me to do this? No, I'm good. But if all things were equal and I knew Travis Hunter was just a wide receiver, he would be the number 1 wide receiver in this class.
Mm-hmm.
I project him as a corner, just to be clear.
But he's not, so your number 1 is?
Tedero McMillan.
Mm-hmm.
Him running the 4.54 at Arizona's Pro Day, that should be enough to keep him in the top 10. There was a rumor that he didn't run at the Combine because he was afraid that he was going to run a 4.7. That changed things for a bit. Now I know definitively the Raiders really like him. I know the Jets have some form of interest in him. New Orleans does, and there's another one. And I can't Dallas. Jacksonville has some, but Jacksonville has interest in other guys. I think his drop dead spot's probably 12.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's just a big-bodied receiver. He does have some. My dad always called them belly buttons. Everybody's got a belly button. It just depends on how ugly it is. He has a few of those to his game. Because, yes, he's a big body guy, but he's not a big guy. Like, I met him at the Combine. It shocked me how thin he looked. And then you watch him in the Pac-12 and you go, you really bullied a lot of bad corners. And I don't know that you're going to be able to do that at the NFL level. I still really like him. I think he is super smart and super fluid. And anybody that's got a contested catch rate that's that high, I mean, his contested catch rate was 60%.
Yeah, don't give him a shot.
That means you're going to win a lot of jump balls.
You're going to be able to body him.
My only question is, why was your contested catch rate that high? If you're this hyper athletic, great route runner, why were you not just fully open more often? Could it be that he was the only player on that team? Absolutely. And that manifests itself on tape from time to time. It's just not all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But his 40 time pushed him in front of my number 2. Ted had fallen to 2 for about an hour. And that lasted about long enough for him to run a 4.54.
All right, and that number 2 is who?
Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden is Stephon Diggs if Stephon Diggs ran really, really, really fast. He didn't, and that's why he fell. But Golden can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. He actually played way more on the outside than you would think. And he has really good feet. That's when I went back to watch him, because he ran. Look, I thought he was going to run fast. I didn't think he was going to be the fastest wide receiver at the combine. So I went back and started watching the tape on him. It does bother me. Why do you not play like you're 4.29 fast? Because he doesn't. He looks like a 4.4 guy. That was the reason I knew Isaiah Bond wasn't running some 4.19, because you play about the same speed. I think Golden is more straight line fast. Really good kick returner, really good with the ball in his hands. I think he's just good at everything. Him and my 3 are kind of similar in that I don't necessarily see star in either one, but I don't see bust in either one either.
Right. Matthew Golden is a really solid 2.
The bad thing is that I think there's a chance he gets drafted as more than that. Because this receiver class is deep. It's not very good on the high side. Because you have Tet that I think all of us at this point really have. If he's not your 1, he's your 2, and it's really close. Mm-hmm. Golden's really the only one that could be in front of him. But if you go back and just watch the tape, take the combine completely out of it, is there any point where the tape tells you he should be the 1? And I ran into that problem. That I never saw number 1 wide receiver overall tape. But I keep hearing him to the Dallas Cowboys at 12. I know your Tampa Bay Buccaneers have some form of interest in him. And there are a handful of other teams in that late teens range. I just would feel better with him going to Baltimore or going to Buffalo or going to one of these good teams that has a good quarterback. I think you're asking a lot. Because look, top 20 wide receivers, that is the highest bust rate outside of quarterbacks in the NFL, is pass catchers like this that we take in the top 20. Because 9 times out of 10, they're not actually that much better than the other guys in the class. They just have a delineating factor. A lot of times they play on the outside. A lot of other guys play in the slot. In this case, it's that he ran really, really fast. It just makes me a little nervous.
All right, and number 3 after Matthew Golden.
This is the definition of safe. It's Emeka Egbuka.
Mm-hmm.
What does he do really well? You've watched a lot of him. What does he do really, really, really well?
I don't know. What is his best trait?
I don't have one. That's where he's got a lot of pluses. He just doesn't have that one superior trait. And there have been guys like this over the years, and the bust rate on them is next to nothing because they all come into the league and they're serviceable guys. I just think they're 2s. And it's really hard for me to take a wide receiver in the first round that I know definitively is going to be a 2. I in no way am trying to denigrate Emeka Egbuka. I think he is the definition of a stand-up double. And if I'm one of these really good teams at the end of the first round, basically all the teams I just said on Matthew Golden, I'll take Emeka Egbuka and I won't think a second thing about it. My biggest question is, can he play out wide in a stereotypical NFL offense? He didn't do it a ton at Ohio State, but he did it some. If you told me he was just a slot guy, he's a top of the second round pick. And there are a lot of teams that's how they're evaluating him, is that he can only play out of the slot. He's really seamless in and out of breaks. He's got really good hands. He's just never been the guy. And I think that's kind of how he's going to translate in the NFL. He's never going to be the guy. He can be the guy next to the guy. But then you really get into some of the conflicts that you have there. If he can only play out of the slot, well, he can't go to Baltimore because Zay Flowers only plays out of the slot. Can't go to Buffalo because Khalil Shakir only plays out of the slot. And I can do that with a lot of teams that need receivers. Los Angeles Chargers, him and Ladd McConkey, which one are you going to play outside? That makes it harder to get him in the first round. Well, it's not Ibuka either because he's a slender-built, 6-foot-tall kid that played almost exclusively out of the slot. I'm not saying he can't do it. It's just hard for me to project that. I actually believe he can. But if I'm wrong, I'm going to look like a buffoon, especially if I'm a team that already has an established slot.
All right, Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. Number 3 or 4. We didn't really count Travis Hunter.
No, we didn't count Travis Hunter.
At the number 1 slot. But Ted McMillan, Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, the top 3, and Jeremy Green's top 13 wide receivers for the 2025 NFL draft class. We'll continue the ranking after this.
At Tractor Supply, we know that a winning season out here
clear
practice, teamwork, and a can-do attitude. Thankfully, when it comes to teamwork, it's great to have a neighbor like Tractor Supply. No matter the season, our team members are here to help. Like you, they know that nothing beats the feeling of seeing all your hard work pay off. Whether you're caring for pets, chickens, or a few acres, we have everything you need to get the most out of life out here. Season after season, Tractor Supply. For life, out here.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man. No, wait, my phone! Come back! It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life! Come back!
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
In the Sportsocracy, we like to make jokes, and we make jokes about doing ball things. Well, nobody does balls quite like Bear Smokehouse Barbecue. Bear balls, mac and cheese, pulled pork, and cornbread, fried and topped with a cheese sauce and bacon. You can see why they like to talk about their balls so much. And if you like ball things, it's also a great spot to catch the next game. Bear Smokehouse, the official barbecue of the Sportsocracy. Grab you some balls today and join us for the grand reopening March 29th.
It's the moment you dream of, the moment you work for, train for, run wind sprints when nobody's watching for, the moment when hours of gym time, court time, prep time, all culminate into this time, the moment when millions of bounces, blocks, and boards all add up to this, your moment. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville, introducing you to this month's Parks Community Heroes, Corey and Kristen Short and the entire team at Silverados, who converted their music venue in Black Mountain into a donation and distribution zone in the wake of Hurricane Helene. Corey and his team founded Valley Strong Disaster Relief, dedicated to providing essential support to our neighbors in need. Nominate your Parks Community Hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
We are back to Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. Heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Don't forget to make ESPN Asheville your number one on your presets. Presets brand new to the iHeartRadio app. If you haven't, update the app today and make us your number one, because you are our number one. Top 13 2025 NFL Draft wide receiver prospects. Number 4 on the list, Jeremy.
This kid falls into Jeremy Greene boyfriend territory. It's Trey Harris.
Oh, no.
From Ole Miss. You know,
Okay.
I always have a second-round wide receiver that I am just drunk in love on, and it's Trey Harris.
Yes.
I do
What do you
not,
love
for the
about him
life
so
of me, understand what it is that people are not seeing about him. I keep seeing him fall into the third round, and I think it is the most laughably stupid thing. Oh, but he got hurt last year. Is his leg still attached? Because I feel pretty sure it probably healed. I think he's the number one wide receiver. I actually, if we're being 100% honest, I like him probably better than every receiver up high other than Ted, because he is a true, honest-to-God X.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen but can he separate? And I don't. Well, I mean, he did it in the SEC just week after week after week after week. He doesn't run a refined route tree. Name me the guy that does. I think we've officially gotten to the point of the route tree. Okay. Could you tell me the route tree that Ted McMillan runs? Because a lot of the routes that I see him get open on, those are not NFL routes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I know his separation. There's one of those PFF advanced metrics says separation rate against single coverage is below 20%. Do you know how many snaps that actually was?
Okay. No.
It was less than 100 over 2 years. Okay, yeah, I think you're overvaluing that just a skosh. He's got really good feet, really good size, really good hands. This is one of those that I don't think it's that hard, and people are making it hard. Watch that Ole Miss offense with him and without him, and it will very quickly make you go, oh, yeah, there's something different about him.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, just a fun little tidbit about him. He was Malik Neighbors' quarterback in high school.
Really?
Yeah. That was probably not a fun team to play if I were a betting man.
No. Wow. He was the quarterback.
He was the quarterback,
He's a hell of a wide receiver himself.
And apparently they're like best friends too. So,
I bet they ran a lot of double reverses.
I'm going to say they ran a lot of score touchdown. That's the name of the play. We score touchdown on you and make you look dumb.
Here we go. Watch this. Tet, you're good. Or Malik, you're going to get the ball right here. 15 yards behind the offensive line, and it's not going to matter. But he's pretty good at that as well. Mm-hmm. Trey Harris, he's a real weapon behind the line with some space.
He's just really good with the ball in his hand. He's not a refined prospect, but the raw in him is enough for me to go, yep, I'll take that in the second round, and I'll laugh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, the number 5 wide receiver in this class for you is who?
Alec Ayumanor. Yes, he is a little bit stiff. I get it. There's probably no quarterback in this class that had worse quarterback play than Alec did. and you watch just the raw on him, he's so good against man. And he absolutely eats guys' lunchbox. He's so smart. He's one of those crafty wide receivers that I look at and go, I don't know how this would happen, but if you could get to the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid is going to really just screw up a lot of people's day with you. He's so good at knowing exactly where to sit down. Option routes. I hate typecasting a guy into, man, I really want you to run a lot of those option routes. He's one of those. He needs to get better at the point of attack. And then when he measured at the combine, I thought he was bigger than that. The thing that pushed him below Trey Harris is I actually thought he was bigger than he measured. And it made the contested catch thing make a lot more sense.
But you like a guy that plays bigger, right?
I'm not going to say he played bigger. He looks bigger. He actually played smaller than what I thought he was. Then I found out what he was, and I went, oh, that actually makes plenty of sense. Yeah, he's not as big as I thought. Also, this is why you don't list guys at markedly bigger than they are. Because I see 6'3" and some change. He's actually 6'2" and like a fingernail. Mm-hmm. That would have changed a lot. Hey, Stanford, that would have saved me some time. I'm not standing beside the kid, and it's kind of hard to evaluate an inch on television.
All right, the wide receiver out of Stanford, Alec Ayumaner, as the number 5 wide receiver here. Who's number 6?
Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. He is not of this world. And I'm convinced that in the right system, he is going to be just out of this world good. He's big. He's fast. Iowa State, I don't know where they find these guys. They are witches at finding guys that are really big and really fast and really raw. Because they have a corner that we'll talk about in a few days. He's in the same boat. You're not a refined prospect at all. And I will say, if you're of the belief that Iowa State guys, that Matt Campbell just gets the most out of them and then they go to the NFL and kind of die, I get it. I mean, you look at the history of Iowa State receivers, it is not great. Hakeem Butler, yeah, we all fell hook, line, and sinker for that. Last time I checked, I think he's playing in the XFL. Alan Lazard, Xavier Hutchinson. It's kind of a graveyard. I don't think Jaden Higgins is going to fall into that. You know what we were talking about earlier about guys that didn't run really refined route trees? Jaden Higgins can run damn near anything. There's really nothing you're going to task him to do that he can't find, that he can't find a way to run. I just worry about him with why were you never... I'm trying to find a way to say this that makes it make sense the way it is in my brain as opposed to the way it's going to sound. You could watch Iowa State for an extended period of time and never really think he was a star. He might be the best receiver on the field. He's beating Big 12 defense. But you never really watched him and went, my God, that kid is just out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ran.
He just kind of,
and then you saw the workout.
What they gave him.
And you saw him at the Senior Bowl. And you saw all of those things where he's going competitive to competitive, talent for talent. Why did I not see that down in and down out? It's just one of those things that I'm never going to get an answer to. And by the time I have an answer, if I get one at all, it'll be too late. You know, if it's he just plays to the level of his competition or he's more athlete than he is wide receiver. I've already taken him by that time. Or I've already let him slide by me. But if you're talking about high floor or high ceiling, kind of terrifying floor. Because his floor does scare me to death. That's why I have him at 6. The floor on the two in front of him, Ayumaner and Harris, it's so much higher. Those guys are at worst really bad 2s. Jaden Higgins is the kind of guy that you can get yourself fired because he's a height, weight, speed monster, but then he gets to the NFL and he just can't get open. And it's not, he doesn't run routes well. I need to run. No. Just doesn't have a knack for getting open. I like him. I understand why others don't.
All right, the top 6 in the class, and you've got all these guys projected to go in the top 2 rounds.
Yes, those were all top 2 round guys to me. In the YouTube chat, they're making fun of a name I haven't said yet. He's the next name up, and I'll explain to you why I don't like him after this break.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Decreasing clouds, breezy and cooler for us here this afternoon. Temperatures reaching highs in the low part of the 60s. Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight all the way down near 40. Breezy and milder Tuesday, mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures tomorrow afternoon approaching 70 degrees. Cooling off again as we head through Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of sunshine, a bit breezy, especially Wednesday. Highs near 60, low 60s Thursday. I'm Ken Boone with the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by True Green. We're back in the miller's yard who now use True Green. Their lawn started looking like a fairway and pro golfers started.
Did you record some spots with Clarissa?
GA Tour quality lawn for as little as $1 a day at True Green.
Terry Lynn sent an email. She wants them.
Ever wake up feeling lousy, knowing something is off with your body?
Oh, okay.
For guesswork, you need Viome. Forget all the generic health fads. Viome doesn't tell you what you want to hear. It tells you what's actually going on inside your body. By analyzing your gut microbiome, Viome delivers a custom health plan that's as unique as your DNA. It's science, not nonsense. Want energy? Want better digestion? Viome has your back. Stop trusting amateurs. Go to Viome.com for a personal...
Because Mark wants the spots, too.
Star Guts to get 50 full body intelligence test. That's *488 to receive a link to the offer.
Monday, March 31st, the Orange Peel presents Neon Trees.
Do I need to put those in on our side?
Get your tickets.
You never sent them to me.
Net. Don't miss Neon Trees, live, March 31st. See you.
I'll go look for them.
Have you
do that.
Feature on the iHeartRadio app yet?
I have this go-to playlist. Boom, made it a preset.
It's like the only app you need.
The #1 radio app. Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Bears Smokehouse Barbecue in downtown Asheville is back. Join us on the 29th at Bears on the South Slope for a lighthearted rage-releasing benefit party appropriately named To Hell with Helene. We'll exercise some demons together. A little axe throwing, a pie eating contest, mechanical bull rides. There'll be live music and, of course, great barbecue. Proceeds from the party will support Linked for Life, a mental health initiative. Say To Hell with Helene with us at Bears Smokehouse grand reopening downtown March 29th.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Sometimes it don't always work for an injury, but it practice makes it perfect.
It is ESPN Asheville. The draft miss season always on us here. It's getting heavier and heavier as it gets closer and closer.
When did it get heavy for you? I missed you at those film sessions, bruh.
You wouldn't catch me at those film sessions.
Getting
this
heavy.
is enough.
getting heavy on you. Oh, damn. It's so hard to sit here and go and spin up your little Matchbox card, let it run around.
Spin on number 7 there.
You're just adorable. Luther Burden III. I don't get it. I don't get what other people see in him. I think last year he got unmasked. And yes, I do get because I'm the guy that's notorious for saying, oh, it's just we've gotten fatigued with a guy that we've talked about for too long. No, with Luther Burden, it was we kept expecting him to take a step forward, and he didn't do it. So now I look at him as a poor man's Deebo Samuel. I mean, he's fine. I just don't know exactly what it is that I'm supposed to be jumping up and down about. I think you like him better than I do.
I mean, I do like him. He's he makes big plays. He can, catch a ball damn near anywhere that's thrown around him.
All right, so you said big plays. When did those happen? There was 1 year of that. And other than that, he was largely about a 50-yard-a-game guy. I mean, I get it. You're playing in the SEC with an inferior quarterback and inferior talent. But bruh, what happened to you this year? Because you were nowhere near the same guy.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to be that guy when you're the only guy. I mean, he's the first thing they talk about on the game plan, correct?
No doubt. I don't disagree with any of that.
The big boys come to play, And
I don't disagree with any of that. All right, so I'm going to list off a few traits of Luther Burden. You tell me where I'm wrong. He's shorter than practically any other prospect that we're talking about in this range.
Okay.
He's thinner than every prospect we're talking about in this range.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't run an evolved route tree. Lesser probably than any other prospect in this range.
Okay.
I'm going to have to manufacture his touches. Because that became a problem at Missouri. He could not win down the field. Because he is shorter. He does not handle being pressed well. He does not run an evolved route tree. So now I'm supposed to believe he's going to go to the NFL. And because now he's not the only player on a team, all of a sudden all these things go away. Oh, by the way, he only ran a 4.41. Like, I get it. That was the draw on him, is that he's this freak athlete that played like every sport known to man. He played football, basketball, baseball. He ran track. He did cross country. But you're not that fast. Like, you don't look that fast on film either. You look like Laviska Shenault. And I can't stop seeing it. I've read this book before. And you know what? If he burns me, so be it. I'm good. I do not see any path that I would take him any higher than the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And I would use him as, in the back of my mind, he is a nice weapon. He is a move piece. And he is a guy that I know definitively can return kicks. I don't think he's anything more than that.
So he will come into the league and likely get swallowed up because of his size. Is that
I just think he is anytime I start seeing guys in college that are moving constantly, it's because they have a limitation. You're trying to manufacture that touch. And I get it. That's what a good college coach should do. It's just, if you're that good, and I'm supposed to be talking about you. I mean, look, there are people still talking about him going in the top 20. I think those people are smoking recreational drugs, but that's just me. Why can you not just line up and win? Oh, it's the SEC. You're right. There were only a handful of high-end corners, and you couldn't beat man coverage consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, and I don't have the number pulled up in front of me, his grade against man coverage was a 78. Which is good. It's not great. It's not as good as what I've seen from some of these other guys that are in front of me. By the way, your drop rate is a full percentage point and a half, if not more, higher than every other one of these guys. I don't know. He forces a lot of missed tackles. No receiver in college football forced more missed tackles last year than Luther Burden.
Mm-hmm.
but that's Deebo Samuel. I'm going to have to get you in the right position. Oh, and by the way, two of your three best games last year were against UMass and Mississippi State. What happened when you played Alabama? Completely irrelevant.
Right.
What happened when you played South Carolina? Right. Completely irrelevant. Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Boston College, completely irrelevant. You can kill UMass. Awesome. You don't get to play many of those guys in the NFL. We call that the preseason, and it doesn't mean much.
And he measured in at 6 foot tall.
Yeah. Which I'm not sure that wasn't one of those Senior Bowl guys going, "Hey, I gave you the leading edge and then an inch and a half."
I was going to say, I don't even think they listed him at 6 foot tall.
They didn't. They listed him at 5'11".
Right. He somehow he sprung up an inch going to the NFL scouting combine. But okay, all right.
Bill Workman said, "When was his last big play?"
You're right. I mean, he doesn't look that big. He does look like a freak in space, though.
And he is a freak in space.
There's more and more of a spot for that in the NFL these days.
No doubt. I'm not saying he doesn't have a role. He doesn't have a first-round role.
No, I would agree with that.
Now, guess what? You're going to have to take him in the top 50.
Second-round role? Okay, second round, we can talk.
No way I'd take him over the three guys I said right in front of him. No way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to.
And Luther Burden at number 8.
Iowa State has another one, Jalen Knoll. I would rather go this route than Luther Burden. I have Burden ahead of him because I think Burden's better with the ball in his hand. Jalen Knoll's the take the top off. Yeah, he plays out of the slot. Yeah, he's a smaller guy. He's also not of this earth. And to me, he's the freak athlete that I keep getting told Luther Burden is. I don't think he has as high of an upside because he is not as good with the ball in his hand. But I think he gets open easier. I think he runs a more refined route tree. He ran a 4.39, had almost a 42-inch vert, 11.2 broad jump. You know what all those stats mean? This kid's legs are freakishly strong. Oh, by the way, he also did 23 reps of 225 on the bench at 5'11", $194. That's pretty good. Meanwhile, Luther Burden didn't even try because he knew I've gone up against 190-pound slot corners and just been jammed into the sideline. I like Jalen Knoll a lot. I've also been saying his name incorrectly for quite some time.
How's it supposed to be said?
It's Jalen Knoll. It was David Noel. He is Jalen Knoll.
Yes. Okay. Yes. David Noel. That's a good deep dive Tar Heel basketball player. Nice. Like
it's March.
Like it.
I can throw out basketball players in March.
Yes. At number 9,
Jack Betch. Another one whose name I said wrong for a long time. It's not Jack Beck. It's Jack Betch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just a really big slot, really powerful hands. Jack Betch is more my kind of football player of you can go out there and just win. He is hyper competitive. He was the best player on the field at the Senior Bowl. And that wouldn't be as impressive to me, except he looked at every single one of us and told us he was going to be. I'm going to go out here and dominate all these guys. Cool. And then he did. 65% contested catch rate from a slot receiver with a 1.6% drop rate, which is dumb time. The New England Patriots have already drafted this guy 3 times. You talk about a guy that Bill Belichick would have had. I guarantee you Bill Belichick watches Jack Betch film the same way most of us watch OnlyFans. Because you want to know about a guy that would start a Bill Belichick motor? Jack Betch is a guy that would start a Bill Belichick motor.
Just longingly.
He's Julian Edelman if Julian Edelman was in an adult size. Because Jack Betch is way bigger than him.
Mm-hmm. All right, next up at number 10.
We have a round jump here. And now you're into those now I'm into I'm not sure you should go in the first 2 days. You probably will. The next one's a guy I like a lot, Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. I thought he was going to stay one of my dirty little secrets. He did not. I got asked about him a ton while we were in Indianapolis. And it feels like the more people dive into the tape, because he got hurt this past year, they're going back to the 2 previous years where he was an 1,100-yard receiver 2 years in a row, going, why is nobody talking about him? I don't know. I don't know why nobody talks about him. He does everything you want a receiver to do. The problem is that I don't know. When you watch him on tape, he does not look as fast as he ran. And he could be one of those bigger, thinner wide receivers that is really susceptible to the press. He doesn't separate particularly well. And he has to use that nuance. I don't love that word, but he has to use the nuance to his game to get open. And those guys can be a little bit scary. But, man, if you throw it anywhere near him, he catches it.
Well, he's used a lot in that like a Chris Godwin type of a role.
He kind of reminds me of Chris Godwin.
He reminds me a lot of Chris, and it's not just number related.
Well, and the funny thing, I'm really glad that was actually I took a smart alecky shot at you earlier, and that was actually a really good dive that I know I didn't tell you.
Thank you.
Because I like Torrey Horton playing out of the slot. I liked some of his slot tape better than I liked him on the outside, even though he's that big. And he kind of reminds me of Godwin. Of the people that don't like him, they don't like him because he doesn't have that long range, crazy, freaky, fast ability to separate. But you put him in the slot against some of these smaller corners, and how physical he is and how good he is at just getting open, he could be evil. And you can still put him on the outside. He doesn't have to play exclusively in the slot.
Mm-hmm. Where's that gap in the defense? I'm not necessarily burning a sideline here. I'm finding the open slot, and you get it to me, and I'm gonna go get it. And that's what I've always loved about Chris Godwin, is that I'm not stretching the field for 40 yards a clip here,
but I can.
I'm gonna get you 5, and then my feet are gonna get you 20 more.
But I can do that because I'm such a skilled route runner that I can get open even though I'm not long range fast.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the better comps that you've done in all of the years that we've been doing the draft. That was some high level draft nerd ish right there, my friend. And
thank you.
I watched that like a dad sees his kid hit his first 3.
Oh, look what I did!
Look at Junior hitting that 22-footer, just onions
with the kiss off the glass. Torrey Horton out of Colorado State is number 10. Number 11. Oh, you'd love this guy.
Yeah, I do love this guy. Jalen Royals out of Utah State.
Royals.
He was a running back until a year ago. He's still figuring out just exactly how to play wide receiver. And, man, if he ever figures it out, he is going to be a pain to deal with. He's not the biggest guy. He's not crazy straight line fast. He's just so unbelievably shifty. You can tell that he was a running back when you watch him. He does have to work on the hands because there were a couple just horrifically bad drops. But that comes from a guy that didn't necessarily do this. He's not refined in how he plays. But, man, if he gets a step on you, you're in trouble. And knowing that he's going to be a slot guy, and he's built like a tank too, because he's short and squatty. I don't know where he fits best. And I keep having to temper myself because I keep drafting him over several of the receivers that are in front of him here. But I do. I love him, and I love the next guy too. The next guy is a big version of Jalen Royals.
Number 12.
Savion Williams out of TCU. You remember that thing we said about Luther Burden? That, you're really not refined and you don't run routes well and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I can say all the same things about Savion Williams. Here's the difference. He's almost 6'5". And evil with the ball in his hand. I'm not sure Savion Williams doesn't play running back at the next level. Because he did that at TCU, and it's probably the best tape he had. The thing is that he can, where I can't get away from Savion Williams is he looks and plays like Cordero Patterson. And I think we've already figured him out before he gets to the league, so we don't have to waste 6 years of trying to throw him out in the slot. And no, you're going to use him as a move piece. He's going to line up in the backfield and go out into the slot and wind up with a linebacker out there on him who has less than zero shot of covering him. He is a niche player to the highest degree, and he doesn't fit everybody. But, man, if he lands in the right spot, you talk about a guy that can be a nightmare to defend.
And then finally at number 13.
This is another one that falls into Jeremy Boyfriend territory. Don't watch his tape because his tape will hurt your soul. He also played with a really bad quarterback. It's Isaac Tesla, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Big-bodied. He was a last-minute replacement at the Senior Bowl. I didn't know a soul that really – we knew who he was, but we didn't have any deeper dive information on him. And then it just felt like every single time he ran a rep at the Senior Bowl, he was eviscerating guys. He's big-bodied. He's got good hands. He ran really well. And then I went back and watched the Texas A&M tape, which was really the one high-end game he had. This kid only caught 28 passes last year. So the tape is not really backing up what I have athletically seen of him, but he's the one that we get into day 3. I want to take the shot on him because this kid's a competitor. He wasn't even prepared to play in the Senior Bowl and showed up in awesome shape. He looks like Thor. He's got long blonde hair, and he kind of looks like Thor. And then you just watch him and go, I don't see how anybody doesn't love this kid. And so my line on Isaac Tesla has been, if he was at Ohio State, we'd be talking about him in the second round. He didn't have a quarterback, so we don't talk about him that way. That kid can play, period.
The top 13 wide receivers for the 2025 NFL Draft class. Get all the rankings at NFLDraft.net. You can follow him on the Twitter machine at ESPN Draft Nerd. Jeremy Greene, that'll be doing it for us today. Hopefully the foot will be stronger tomorrow. I mean, we're not going running marathons or anything, but
I'm not driving you back to South Asheville.
I feel like today was a productive day.
We have that Hell with Helene party with Bears Barbecue on Saturday, and I'm not driving you back to South Asheville. So you need to get that thing back to at least 80% by Saturday.
Will do.
I'm still having nightmares of that drive back.
I'm gonna go practice tonight. Well, we'll find an open parking lot somewhere. It's like I'm a teenager again. You're in the Sportsocracy. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon on ESPN Asheville.
Do you disregard people's personal space?
Clear.
Sitting next to people in public, even if there are tons of open seats? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's 72-hour sale is happening now. Save up to 72% off on top brands, with queens starting at $149.99. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
If you or a loved one have been a victim of crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Compensation Services provides programs to help you.
Huzzah!
Of mind. We're here to help you apply for benefits that you may qualify for to recover from hardships such as lost wages.
No, we do not.
More, visit ncdps.gov for victims. That's ncdps.gov/4V.
Okay.
Listeners are always asking about QC Kinetics treatments. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. If you're wondering if you are a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions.
No problem.
Is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Trouble sleeping, walking day-to-day movement? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long...
All right, man. Have a good one.
...that comes with it? And most importantly, doing things you love because joint pain is holding you back. Walking, golfing, jogging. If you answered yes to any of those, I'd bet you're a great candidate. So please don't wait. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Call 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
Join us this March 29th for an evening that blends exceptional music with heartfelt support for Catamount student athletes. Nashville songwriters in concert at WCU Ramsey Center, brought to you by Ingalls Markets. Reserve individual seats starting at just $200 with dinner and drinks included, or grab a general admission ticket for $65 and enjoy the show. Visit KalohiCollective.com or call 828-227-2401 to get your tickets today. Music, food, and a great cause. Don't miss this unforgettable event.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas